Come in. Welcome. Welcome to the inner sanctum. Welcome to the fear you can hear. I am Hyman Brown. Won't you sit down and relax with me for the next, like less than an hour, and listen to a tale of murder? Or is that statement exactly fair? The dictionary defines murder as the unlawful killing of another with malice aforethought. Well, undoubtedly, there is killing with malice aforethought. But the question here is, what or who was killed?
Don't try to blame it on me. It's always blamed on me. I won't take it any longer. I won't take the guilt. Where else does it lie? Not on me. Not on me ever again. I'll make sure of that. I'll kill you. How can you kill what was never alive? Only one way. I'll tear you apart. Yes, without you I have no life. What you have left without me? I no longer care. Tear you apart, limb from limb, socket by socket.
Freddie, in heaven's name, what are you doing?
I'm destroying what is destroying me.
But there is no act without the two of you.
There is no me as long as he exists. You know that better than anyone, Sarah. It's done. Forever. Maybe now I can live. Maybe it's worth murder to achieve some kind of freedom.
Our mystery drama, The Voice of Death, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Victor Jory. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Ventriloquism is one of man's most ancient arts. It's as old as the Chinese cultures, and almost certainly it was practiced by priests who created such seeming miracles as the speaking statues of Egypt and the Greek oracles. Down through the millennia, it flourished, and when it became sheer entertainment through vaudeville, radio, and television, it reached its highest popularity. Then, suddenly, ventriloquism lost its popularity, a fact that Janus the Great is not yet prepared to face.
Who was I? Fat Freddie Goldstein from the East Bronx, a little schlep. I was scared to go to school even. They beat up on me all the time because I wouldn't fight back, and it was funny to watch a fat kid cry. Then I read an ad in the paper and saved up my lunch money to send away for Professor Fantasorio's magical method of voice projection. Amaze, delight, and mystify friends and foes alike by the ancient and mystical art of ventriloquism. It changed my life because for some reason it was easy to me. I mastered the art in a month and held a golden key that unlocked the world for me. At 16, I was playing parties and school dates. I got in at the very end of radio's golden era. But where I really hit it big was television. By then I was calling myself Janus an alias. And then, suddenly by the late 1960s, I was a has-been. The gold all faded. The club dates I played were a disaster, and a lifetime of splitting myself in two ended in murder.
Fred, look what you've done to him. We'll never put him back together now.
What do you care, Sarah?
What do you mean?
Isn't this the way you've always wanted it?
Oh, Fred, you're sick.
You always thought he came between you and me.
Who?
Him, the dummy.
I never said that once all these years.
But you thought it.
Well, he was always the first thing in your thoughts. You combed his hair, pressed his clothes, washed his face, even behind his ears like he was a child. He never even kept him in a box. He was always there wherever we were. We were never alone. You even used to talk to him off stage. Yes, I was jealous. Now maybe I'm glad you've destroyed him. Maybe now we can have what you'd never let me have.
What? What did I ever refuse you?
A child? A child of my own?
How could we have a child, Sarah? Always on the road, always moving, living in hotels. Children weren't for us.
You could have left me behind with our child or our children.
And travel alone?
Don't you think that I could have gone ahead and had a child? How could you have stopped me? But I didn't because...
Because?
It wouldn't have been fair to the child. It would have been my child, not something we shared, just as he was your child. Oh, Freddie, what's wrong with you? How could you have done that to him?
It doesn't matter. He's gone.
Well, let's see if we can't put him together again.
No! Leave him alone. Don't touch him.
Fred!
He's dead. Smashed. He couldn't be repaired, and he's not going to be repaired, because there's nothing to repair him for.
Darling, what is it?
Don't you see? I'm as dead as he is.
You got fired again.
I'm through, Sarah. It's all over. There's no Janus the Great.
No, that isn't true, darling. You're tired. You've been overworking. A good night's rest.
What am I going to do? We have no money. I have no other talents. I'm back once again to where I began, Fat Freddy from the East Bronx. When I killed Alias, I might as well have killed myself. I had no rest that night. What a night it was. After Sarah, worrying herself frantic about me, finally got to sleep, the things began happening. The first pain when it came was so intense and piercing that in spite of myself, it... Ah! My God! I bit my lip till the blood came, trying to stifle my cry so that I shouldn't bother Sarah. But my arm felt as though some giant had broken it across his knee. And then the second one came. A blow that compressed my brain and sent it spinning. Ah, dear God, what's happening to me?
Fred? What is it? Darling, are you all right? Oh, it's 5 a.m. You're still awake.
Sarah, a dream. What a dream. I felt like I was broken on the rack.
I'll get you some aspirin. You're coming down with something, mark my words.
I'm coming down with something, all right. Tomorrow, first thing, I'll take care of that.
Take care of what?
What I did to my poor little dummy. Tomorrow, I'll go to the professor and see if he can put Alias together again. It's what must be done.
So now you've made up your mind. Maybe you could sleep a little.
What I am. Too late to change about the dummy and me. But one thing it isn't too late for is a child. If you...
Oh, what could I do with a child? I already have one in my arms. Sleep a little, darling, sleep. And maybe we could find a new tomorrow.
I could sleep now. The pains were all still there, but dulled and able to be forgotten. I nestled close to Sarah, and she held me close. And suddenly it came, the blessed curtain of sleep, and the wonderful feeling that all the decisions had been made and the future smoothed away.
You did this to my creation.
Professor, I paid you for him.
For the intricate balance of wire and joints that gave him reality. And more than that, the control of the eyes, the mouth, the tongue between the teeth, a model of the human figure, a scarce step below actuality. He's been destroyed beyond belief. It's vandalism. He cannot be repaired.
You must forgive me, Professor Manzini, but my art is a lost art, and yours may be too.
What? What do you say?
We live in a world where miracle, illusion, magic are forgotten. Words and symbols mean little more than what they state.
We live in a world where nothing that is said, no words, no statement means anything at all. Yes, you are right about our profession. I've had my dissatisfactions, too, which have led me deeper and deeper into the recreation of form, the humanoid form, the complete replica of man. I am so near, Janus, so near.
What are you saying?
I've created a dummy. No, forget that awful word. A robot, half life-size, capable of everything. Movement, reaction, everything except actual speech. By electronic control, you can move this figure, activate it, make it sit or stand or bend. But to make it speak, that is beyond me. Only a master of ventriloquism can effect that. Will you lend your artistic talent to my mechanical genius and create a new miracle?
Need you ask? I'm desperate.
You don't have to worry any longer, Janus. Here, come with me a moment. Let me show you my new masterpiece. There he is. How do you like him?
Why, his face. It's the exact image of mine.
Well, I had to have a model. Who better than you? Here, take this control. Ask him to get up and come to you.
What do I call him?
Well, he's you to the life. And it's a great title. The Great Janus and, Self. Yes, that's its name.
Self. I am Janus. Will you come to me? Do you want me to be your master?
Well, why don't you make it answer?
I'm trying to, but maybe I'm out of practice. I'll try again. Do you know me? Will you answer me when I talk? If you tell me the answers. How did you find Chicago? I just got off the plane and there it was. I don't know if I want this dummy, Professor.
Oh, the elements are sensational. This is only a working model. Let me build you the complete dummy and you'll thank me forever.
I've told you, Professor, I haven't the money.
Yes, I know. So I'll offer you a proposition. I'll build you a humanoid that will walk, move, bend, jump, do anything you ask it to. That's my contribution. All you must provide is the voice. That is beyond me. We'll go into a simple partnership, 50-50, on all our earnings. Will you accept that?
I don't have to put up any money to own a humanoid that moves and acts like any other person?
You will pay. Now leave. I must get to work. I will finish Self. Arrivederci, Janus.
Arrivederci. How will I know?
I will call you the moment he is finished.
I don't know how to thank you, Professor Manzini.
Oh, yes, my sometimes friend. No need to thank me. Nor will you want to when I'm finished with you. Murderer, assassin, to have killed one of my children. For that you will pay. I could have struck you dead today for what you did to one of mine. But I stayed my hand a little while. I have other plans for you than just revenge.
So the professor's apparent kindness is only a mask to hide his revenge for the destruction of one of his creations. But how does he expect to accomplish that? I'll return shortly with Act 2. ventriloquism. The name is a misnomer, since its Latin roots mean simply speaking from the stomach. In actual fact, the illusion is produced by depressing the vocal cords, pulling the tongue inside the mouth to create the words, and by keeping the lips from moving. Still, practiced by a master, the illusion is indistinguishable from reality. So much so that the great English philosopher Henry Moore was moved to say, "Who knows, but some of his counterfeit ventriloquists may prove true ones," which is another way of saying, which is the dummy and which is the master.
When I got home to Sarah with the news about the new act and how I was sure it would put me back in the headlines again, she was less enthusiastic than I'd hoped. Oh, I knew she was pleased for me, but behind the pleasure and the love in her eyes, I could sense a darkness, a foreboding that she couldn't hide.
I'm so glad, Fred. You know what a fierce old warrior the professor is. I thought he'd never forgive you for what you'd done to his masterpiece.
So did I. But I think this new thing he's building is what saved me.
What do you mean?
Well, he's an exact replica of me, like a twin brother.
Just as long as you'll be happy.
You're not?
Oh, I don't know, Fred. This one is so big, so different. The other little fellow was like a child.
Don't, Sarah.
I wouldn't care if you drove a bus or sewed shoes or collected trash. At least I'd have you to myself.
You've always had me, Sarah. There's never been anyone else.
Oh, women I never had to worry about. No matter how they gathered about you. You're a very handsome man, Fred.
I have to be. Look at what I married, the most beautiful woman in the world.
An old lady like me. Since I first saw you, there was nobody but you for me.
Now you regret it?
Oh, never. It's just that I'm so completely yours, all of me. I wish only sometimes I could have you to myself the same way.
But you do. The dummies, Alias, any of them, they aren't your rivals, darling. Not in any way.
Are you sure?
I raise my hand to God.
Oh, no, don't.
Why not?
Because you're only lying to him and to yourself. Oh, don't you see, Fred, they're all your children. The children I never had, the children I can't share.
Why have you stuck with me all these years?
Because I love you. The part of you I've had. But I wish oh, how I wish I could have had all of you.
Sarah, listen. It's going to take the professor a couple of months to finish the work on Self. Cy Kaplan can take care of all the bookings. I've already talked to him, and he's sure we got a smash going. I got all the material I need, and Joe and Irving can be running me up some topical stuff. They'll do it on spec for me. So why don't you and me just run away?
Run away?
You pick the spot. Just so we have enough cash or can borrow enough to make it. Bermuda, the Bahamas, Mexico.
Oh, Fred, I can be packed tonight.
We had nearly 2 months on an island in the Caribbean where the beach from our cabin stretched as far as you could look from left to right. The long walks, the swims, the fish diet, and the simple local foods trimmed me down and took 5 years off my looks. Most of all, the peace. And a strange transformation that was happening inside my own mind. From the beginning, I'd always known what Sarah meant by my split personality. And from the moment we landed on the island, I had set myself to persuade her that it no longer existed. And in the process, I found that I no longer had to persuade myself. It was gone. I called the professor only once during our long vacation.
Hello?
Professor, it's Fred Ghost,
Oh,
Janus.
Sì, come sta, amici?
Wonderful.
Self is not yet finished.
Good.
Good?
I mean, only that I'm enjoying the only vacation I've ever had in my life,
I
so...
advise you to enjoy it to the full. When I've completed your alter ego, you will have little time for play.
You're that optimistic?
I am that optimistic. I have an instinct about these things. I think you will find yourself when you see yourself. I'll send you a message soon when I'm ready. You'll come straight back?
Sure, Professor, sure. Under the circumstances, I'm at your command. Till I hear from you.
Ciao.
Driving back to our beach cottage from the nearest little town where there was a phone, I found a host of things running through my mind. How happy and carefree the last weeks had been. What they had meant to Sarah. Paramount over all was my return to my own personal freedom. To being my own man. Not to have to depend on a fabrication of wood, steel, and wires to which I had lent half my own personality. Over which I had to split myself. It was in that frame of mind I should have decided my life. Except when I got back home, the decision wasn't mine. Oh, what is it, Sarah?
Oh, I don't know. I'm afraid to hope, but I hurt so you've got to get me to the hospital.
What is it, Liebchen?
Well, I think I'm making a better image for you than Professor Manzini with all his skills could ever make. I think I'm pregnant with our child, Fred. Oh, don't let anything happen to him.
It was a wild trip to the local airstrip, a chartered plane and on into Nassau. Sarah had to spend 2 weeks in bed there resting before we were allowed to return home. We wouldn't have left then if it hadn't been for a flurry of phone calls. The professor had finished.
Benvenuto, Janus. Come sta?
Sta bene, maestro. Where is he?
Gently, each thing to its own time. Have you had a good vacation? You look like Othello.
I guess I picked up quite a tan.
And how is your good wife?
Sarah? Oh, she's fine now.
She didn't lose the child?
No, thank God. It was just an early threatened miscarriage. But we got to Nassau on time.
Well, I made a decision while you were gone. Since we're breaking convention, moving into a new relationship, I made certain structural changes.
All right, whatever you decide. You're the master builder.
And you, the master magician.
Needs both of us to create the illusion.
True. Just so long as it is illusion.
Huh?
Signore.
Huh?
My pills in the little bottle on the inlaid table.
Here. How many? Do you need water?
No, just nitroglycerin. One under the tongue.
Yeah.
I have an old heart that has been working too long. Thank you.
Is there anything else I can get for you?
Not any more than you will be getting me very soon. There. Now I'm all right. Yeah, you wish to meet your alter ego?
You can imagine. I'm dying to meet the dummy which will bring ventriloquism and me back into the spotlight again.
Baby. It will be the same as before, except that now, physically, he is perfect. He will move, walk, perform any physical function except talk. That is where you are the creative one. There he is.
He's absolute perfection. How could you tell him from a human being?
He cannot speak. Only you can teach him that.
Teach him?
Well, provide him with a voice and language.
Should we dress him first?
Oh, by all means, let us dress him. And then find out what we have. Or as the Bible would have said, what has been wrought.
Together, we dressed the flexible but unresponsive body. A body so like mine, except so much younger and more perfect. And all the while we worked this curious feeling whenever I glanced up to find myself looking at me, or me looking at self. Finally, the moment was there to animate him.
So, Ecke, this very small remote control you hold in your hand can make him do everything but speak. Let me show you how the control works. Self, would you make us both a drink? Scotch on the rocks for me, a vermouth cassis for Mr. Janus.
Fantastic.
I showed you before.
But that was a robot. This is a replica of a human being. Who could tell the difference?
No one. They accept us. He needs only one more thing to make him complete. A voice.
He's too terrifying. What right have we to invest a complete human being with a voice?
It's the only thing he lacks.
No. If we are to be an act, there is something also he lacks totally. A brain. The power of thought. Whatever issues from his mouth are my thoughts, my words.
Think of the magic of it all.
But how is an audience conscious of that? How do they know that there is any magic happening before them?
Because at the end of the act, or before, however you build it, you turn this figure around. So, and you open this door in his back, like that, and he is revealed as a robot. A mass of gears, cams, springs, the antitheses of a human, a piece of machinery constructed of moving parts.
Something nags at me and tells me there's a flaw in this.
Oh, you have a mountain of debts. How else do you repay them?
Well, I suppose I'm just a sentimental fool, but somehow you make me sound like Faust. You're right. This is the only way I can dig myself out of debt and start a future for my child. You have an act, Professor. Janus and Self. I'll start to work it up immediately, and I hope it'll catch on.
I know it will.
I have a feeling it will, but is it the success I want? I wish I could be sure of that.
Another old-time quote on ventriloquism was one that had an evil spirit speaking in his belly. But suppose by some supernatural act the reverse were true, that somehow the ventriloquist became the victim, that the doll, the dummy, the alter ego tipped the scale and took over for him. Let's see what happens when I return with Act 3. Janus and Self were an instant hit. For 2 months, the act was shaped and polished and brought to New York, where it opened to raves. There were only 2 rifts in the success. The first had to do with Professor Manzini.
It was the day I was to pick up Self. The maestro had wanted to make a few final adjustments, he said. And I had been working desperately to finally come up with a voice that I hoped was completely humanoid. Sarah felt it was, so did my agent. I was anxious to let the professor hear it himself, but I never had the chance. No answer. That's strange. He knew I was coming. Why would he have gone out? His heart. Professor! Professor Manzini! It's me! Janus, Professor! He was seated in his old armchair, head lolling to one side, one hand over the chair as if to receive a pellet from the bottle held in Self's hand. Self himself was bent over, frozen in the act of spilling it out of the already opened bottle. I took his pulse quickly, listened to his heart. The professor was dead. I stooped and picked up the control box, depressing the button. You can straighten up now, Self. Give me the bottle. Thanks. When did he die? Of course, how stupid of me. What a triumph you are, that I should forget even for a moment. At a moment as crucial and heartbreaking as this, that you're only a dummy. Isn't that right?
Yes, Master. That's right.
I shouldn't make you call me that. Do you mind?
Why should I mind? Don't you control me?
Yes, I suppose I do. Except you seem so human.
And a little frightening because I'm so much your twin.
Wait a minute. Well, what's this? Attached to this note is a copy of my will. It makes you the executor and sole heir to all my possessions. May they bring you all you deserve. I have done everything in my power to make sure you will get everything that's coming to you. Did you hear that, Self? You're all mine now.
I am all yours.
Fred, wait a minute. Don't be so fidgety. Let me tie your tie.
I'm sorry, Sarah. It's a rough schedule. I just hope my voice holds out.
I got some lemon and honey for you. Here, drink.
What would I do without you?
Fred, why don't you give it all up? Who needs it?
We do, till the bills are paid.
Well, not with what the professor left us.
I don't want his money. I want my own.
Oh,
What is it, honey?
oh, it's just the baby. He kicks so much these days. Regular soccer player he'll grow up to be.
You take care of yourself.
Ooh.
Now, don't worry about me. I don't want to have to start worrying about you.
What else is it you're worried about, Fred?
Nothing. Just the grind.
Well, you'll tell me if it's anything else.
I'll tell you. What could I ever keep from you, Sarah? But there were things I was keeping from Sarah. Things I even tried to keep from myself. Something strange was happening in the act. Sometimes I'd sort of blank out on the stage. There would be periods when I was never sure exactly what had been said. And then there was the growing pressure on my throat, creating a voice that was unnatural for a ventriloquist, no matter how natural it might be to the audience. I went to my doctor about it, and he advised rest, but that was impossible with the contracts I had to fulfill. I took my problems to Sarah.
You mean he talked without you?
I don't know, Sarah. It seemed that way.
But how?
Well, you know, the old routine. Just to take, for example, where I say, "Where were you born?" He says, "In a hospital." And I say, "Why?" And he says, "Because I want to be near my mother." I've done it so often. The exchange seems completely authentic. But last night, the strangest thing happened, like it's happened before, I think. Only, maybe I'm crazy.
What, Fred?
I asked the question, "Where were you born?" And he answered.
Oh, who cares about me? Where were you born?
And I said, "In a hospital." And he said.
Why?
And I said, "Because I wanted to be near my mother." It's crazy. turned upside down, topsy-turvy. Like he controlled me instead of...
Fred, you've got to quit. It isn't worth it anymore. You're killing yourself.
Why didn't I listen to her? But there was the child to think of and the usual obsession, money. The climax came near the end of my engagement at the music hall. These moments of blanking out in the middle of the act had become more and more frequent. And so had the visits to the doctor for my hoarseness. It took all my strength to go on this performance, except that I knew Sarah was in the audience. I loaded myself with pep pills, gargled, drank coffee by the gallon, and made my appearance. But I was so drugged, shaken out of myself, that the performance was strictly by rote, routine, mechanical, until... So, you think that's funny, do you?
How can I help it?
What do you mean?
What you think, I think, right?
Wrong. It's time you learn to think for yourself.
Okay. How come if we have to pretend we're doing this silly ventriloquist act, I don't sit on your knee?
That's a silly thing to say.
Just like everything else I get to. Why?
You're just as big as I am. That'd be ridiculous.
Not any more than the rest of this act. Anyway, why do you always get to sit down and I have to stand?
Don't get mad.
Oh, I'm not the one who's crazy. You have to be if I sound that way.
All right. If you want to sit down on my lap, come on.
Thank you, Daddy. Isn't this just like old times? Let's do Sonny Boy.
When there are gray skies.
What can they all be, Daddy?
Let them all be gray skies.
What'll I do with them?
You'll make them blue.
What's my name?
Sonny Boy.
What about your friends?
From the moment
friends
Fred had left the
forsake
prepared
me,
act,
What'll you let
I
me
had a
do?
horrible
Let them
foreboding that
all
something
forsake
terrible
me.
was
Oh,
wrong.
you still have
And for a
them?
long while I
I'll
sat
still
frozen into
have
my
you.
seat.
What's my
How could I
name?
stop
Sonny
it?
Boy.
The audience
Where did I
wasn't
come
far
from?
behind me
You
in
came
realizing
from
something had
heaven.
gone terribly
Know
wrong.
about me?
And that
I
awful
know
thing that
your
happens
worth.
only in actors' dreams was taking
You
place
made a
right up
heaven
there on the
for
stage.
Right where?
My
On
husband,
For
making a
me
fool of
right
himself
here
and
on
seemingly
earth.
powerless
Who
to
do you
stop it.
thank?
God
I
bless
sat there to the bitter
you.
end.
And now for the final unbelievable moment, when we offer you the climactic proof of what you've known from the beginning. That despite the evidence of your eyes, ears, and all the other senses, there is on this stage only one living man, myself. The other is, turn around, self, the greatest living robot the world has ever known. A humanoid, complete in every sense, except that he is voiceless. Now, I open the back to prove that he is not alive, not human, but a mechanical contrivance of human ingenuity. What's the matter? Where?
This is not your night, Janus. Why don't you turn around and let the audience know the truth? Turn! Drum roll! Presto, presto, watch and see the truth.
The audience reacted as always, as the door in the dummy's back swung open. My reaction was horrifyingly different, because the door that had been opened was not in the dummy's back, but what for 20 years of married life had been my husband's.
What happened out there, Self?
Since we are alone and the time is right, I will reveal myself.
Professor.
None other. I can't tell you how many bodies I've used, stolen their souls from them to house my own. The only children I've ever had are my puppets, my marionettes, my dummies. When you murdered Alias, I made up my mind to take your body and punish you in the process. I've had my revenge. I told you in my will I'd make sure you got everything that was coming to you. I think I kept my promise.
But you're not finished.
The curse that was laid on me is quite specific. I must find a body to occupy for at least 10 years before I make an exchange or descend to everlasting hell. The one I've taken from you will serve. You have your choice. Continue as a voiceless dummy, or destroy yourself. I couldn't care less.
Fred! Fred, what is it? What's the matter?
I have no more use for either of you. I shall leave. Oh, Mrs. Goldstein, you might need this.
What is it?
The control box to make your husband move. I'll even leave you his voice, since it's become so hoarse and unpleasant. Addio. I've had my revenge.
What am I to do with this? Fred, are you a robot now?
I was. I should be. Except that God is merciful, and evil doesn't always triumph.
What do you mean?
I don't know exactly, but listen to me.
You sound like my Fred again.
I feel like your old Fred again, and not so old. I'm aware of blood coursing through my veins. My heart is pumping, my brain moving and reacting. Look at me, Sarah. Is there a door in my back?
No, but how?
It's beyond me to explain, except every time before that ghoul stole another body, the soul was lost, till this time, because there was already a body made in my image for my soul to invest.
Then you are my Fred.
Thanks to God. Even my voice is back. Most of all, my voice. That's the greatest irony of all.
What do you mean, darling?
For months I've kept it from you. But now I don't need to anymore. He, Self, the professor, whatever he was or is, stole my body and left me the image to dwell in now. And by so doing, saved my life and condemned himself. The body he left me is new and capable of long life. My body that he stole has less than a month to live. I had incurable cancer of the larynx.
I'll be back in a moment with a final thought. As for that mysterious and indefinable character, the professor, whoever he was, his car went out of control on the Harlem River Drive and plunged into the canal. Since he could not swim, whether or not his life might have been saved will never be answered. Our cast included Victor Jory, Amzie Strickland, and Ian Martin. Associate Director, Marlon Swing. This is Hyman Brown, producer-director, inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, then, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. Welcome to Mystery Theater. I am Hyman Brown. The story I bring you is one of the most curious I have ever encountered. For what happened to pretty little Amy Prentice shouldn't happen to, well, to you. Put yourself in Amy's place. You arrive one day at the home of your fiancé, Jack Morton.
Jack, darling, I'm here.
I beg your pardon?
I'm here. I mean, here I am.
You're here, all right, but who are you?
Who am I?
Look, if you're some kind of saleswoman,
Jack,
we're really not...
please. please stop kidding. I'm Amy Prentice, your fiancée.
You're crazy. That's what you are. I've never seen you or heard of you in my life.
Our mystery drama, The Bride That Wasn't, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by George Lothar and stars Janet Waldo and Anne Seymour. I'll be back with Act One in a moment. We have all had odd, unexplainable things happen to us. Sometimes we put them down to tricks of memory, curious combinations of circumstances, or that it was simply unexplainable and then dismissed it all. Perhaps Amy Prentice should have done that, but alas, she didn't. She arrived at the home of her fiancé, Jack Morton, all set to get married, only to have Jack tell her,
I've never seen you or heard of you in my life. Goodbye.
Wait a minute. Now, wait just
You
a
heard
minute.
me, sister. Beat it.
Sister? Beat it? Jack Morton, I don't know what this is all about,
What
but...
is it, Jack? What's wrong?
Yes, what seems to be the trouble?
Well, this girl claims she knows me.
Claims I know you. We're engaged. Engaged to be married.
Married? Oh, my dear young lady, you're suffering from some sort of delusion.
That, or you're playing some sort of game. Now, you just get along out of here.
Oh, now, Mother.
I mean it, Florence. I'll call the police if she doesn't.
No, the poor girl, whatever her problem, looks terribly tired.
You'd be tired, too, if you'd come all the way from Midvale in a day coach.
Come in. Come in and at least have a cup of tea.
Oh, I don't think so. Not now. Not after this reception I just got.
Well, that's just fine with us. Take off.
Jack, how can you act this way? Oh, honey, I don't know what this is all about, but you come on in and have a cup of tea with us.
No! You get out of here. Go away or I'll call the police.
Now, Mother, you know you'll do no such thing. This young woman is obviously in some sort of trouble, and it's up to us to help her if we can. Jack, you pick up her bag and bring it in. And, honey, you come on along with me.
I don't know.
Oh, nonsense. Come on, dear. All right, Jack, bring the suitcase. Close the door. And now let's all go into the dining room and have some tea. You too, Jack. And you, Mother. Now, what's your name, honey?
Amy Prentice.
Well, you sit right there, Amy, and I'll pour tea, and you tell us what this is all about.
Tell you, you all act as if you'd never heard of me.
We haven't. Anyway, I haven't.
This is some kind of trick. Confidence game.
Mother, please. Here we are, honey. Nice cup of tea. Now, there's milk and sugar right there if you want them, and a plate of cookies. Now, let me introduce ourselves to begin with. This is Mother Morton, that's him, Jack's mother, and I'm Florence Morton, his wife.
Wife?
Yes, dear. So, you see, you're thinking he's your fiancé. Well, you see, that just can't be so.
Is she your wife?
Of course she is. Let me tell you once again, I don't know you. I never saw you before in my life.
But you did. You did. We met just 2 weeks ago at the conference at State Teachers College.
Now, what in blazes would I be doing at a teacher's college?
Well, you're an English teacher, aren't you?
English teacher, my foot. I'm an insurance salesman.
But you can't be. You can't be. Unless you don't have a twin brother or a double or something.
No, Amy, he doesn't.
As she very well knows.
Mother? Amy, why don't you tell us what you think this is all about? I mean, start at the beginning and, well, tell us the whole story. Perhaps we can help in, I don't know, in some way.
But he knows what happened.
Whether he does or not, you just tell us in your own words.
Well, I'm an English teacher at Midvale High School, and I attended the conference of English teachers at State Teachers 2 weeks ago. On the third day, when I was having lunch in the cafeteria.
Look, excuse me. There seems to be a shortage of tables. Do you mind if I sit down here?
No, of course not. Please.
Thanks. I'll just put my tray down here. There we are. Or rather, here I am. My name's Morton, Jack Morton.
Amy Prentice.
Where are you from?
Midvale.
Newark. High school English. You know, Chaucer, Shakespeare, and all that.
Well, we have a lot in common.
Mm-hmm. Including food. I see you got a BLT on whole wheat, toasted.
You too?
Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise.
Hey, are you enjoying the conference?
Oh, yes and no.
Well, what's the no part?
Well, quite honestly, I don't go for some of the new teaching methods they're recommending.
Yeah. Like letting your students read what they want to read instead of holding them to the curriculum.
You too?
Me, too.
Well, we do have a lot in common.
Yeah, I should say we do. Sure glad I asked to sit at your table.
So am I.
Amy, do you mind if I call you Amy?
No.
And you call me Jack, okay?
All right, Jack.
Well, what I was going to say, it's kind of early to ask you for a date, but, well, look, the barbecue tonight. I'm not looking forward to going alone, and I sort of wondered...
I wasn't looking forward to it either, for the same reason.
You talk about two minds with but a single thought, two hearts that beat as one. Well, how about it?
How about what?
Going to the barbecue with me. Look, the steak is going to be New York cut, my favorite.
Oh, mine too. I'd love to.
It's a date then, Amy?
It's a date, Jack. And that was our first date. We saw each other from then on every chance we got, every day. And just before the end of the conference, Jack asked me... Jack, you know you did. You asked me to marry you.
Look, will you make sense? I'm married to Florence. I've been married to her for 10 years. Would I ask you or anyone else to marry me?
But you did. What do you think I'm doing here? We arranged for me to come today to meet your mother and stay here till we got married over the weekend. Why, this is the engagement ring you gave me.
Now, wait a minute. Cool it, lady. You could have gotten that anywhere. You could have bought it yourself.
Amy, I know you're sincere in thinking you met Jack at that conference and that he asked you to marry him, but, well, it's got to be some sort of delusion.
If it is, how did I know his name and address?
That you could have got out of any phone book. I don't care what you say, Florence. This girl is playing some kind of game.
I don't think so, Mother. I think she really believes what she says.
I believe it because it happened.
No, Amy, as I say, it's some sort of delusion.
Is the rose garden a delusion?
The rose garden?
Your rose garden, Mrs. Morton. Jack told me you love roses and that you're an expert at growing them, that you even exhibit them and have won prizes. Is that true?
Well, yes, but...
That window there, that picture window, does it look out on the backyard where the rose garden is?
Why, good heavens, it does, yes.
I'll describe it for you, just as Jack described it for me. There's a brick walk down the center, dividing the yard in half. You enter the walk through a white trellis that's covered with red and white roses. At the far end of the walk, there's a tall French fence to screen you from the neighbors, and in front of the fence, there's a fountain with a large statue of the god Pan. Is that right?
Perfectly. It's unbelievable.
I don't see anything unbelievable about it. She could have gone out back and looked at my garden before she rang the front bell.
Well, yes, that is true.
How would I know that Jack's mother exhibits her roses, wins prizes?
Oh, that's true, too, Mother.
Well, there are plenty of ways she could have found out.
Name one. You just named me one.
I could name you half a dozen. You could have asked questions around the neighborhood. And there is a record book of prize winners with stories of their backgrounds, their lives. You could have just made an educated guess.
Personally, I don't think this poor child did any of those things.
Then you explain how she knows.
I can't. No more than she can.
I have. Jack told me about that garden and all about his mother, but, well, it doesn't matter now.
Well, what do you mean, Amy?
I mean, I don't understand it, but obviously Jack doesn't want to marry me. Can't marry me. And regardless of what I think, what I believed happened, and it did, I know it did, well, it doesn't matter.
Oh, where are you going?
Back where I came from, of course, Midvale. Thanks for the tea.
I'll be happy to take your bag to the door.
Now, just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Amy, you can't go back to Midvale today.
Why not?
There's only one train from Newark to Midvale. I happen to know because I have a friend I visit in the asylum there. And that leaves at 9:30 in the morning.
Well, I'll stay somewhere. At a hotel.
You'll do no such thing. You'll spend the night here. With us.
I can't have that. I won't have it, Florence. I'm not letting some tricky little character like her stay the night under my roof.
Mother, we can't put her out. That simply wouldn't be decent. Human. No, I insist. She's got to spend the night, have a good, refreshing sleep. And then I'll drive her to the station after breakfast in the morning.
I really can't put you out like this.
Not another word, Amy. I won't take no for an answer. Now, let me show you to the guest room. Bring her suitcase, Jack.
Okay.
You come along, too, Mother.
You don't need me.
Oh, yes, we do.
What for?
Why, I think it's going to be a chilly night. And you know where the extra blankets are.
So do you, Florence.
Please.
Come on, Mom.
I'm really sorry to bother you like this. And, look, you needn't trouble about an extra blanket. The weather's warm, really.
Here we are.
Oh, wait. Wait, before you open the door.
Yes?
Jack described the room where I'd be staying, the guest room. I can tell you exactly what it looks like.
Oh, you couldn't possibly.
There's a big dormer window, like all old houses have, and chintz curtains.
Good heavens.
A big easy chair with an ottoman. The bed has a canopy, and the rug, it's a woven rug, oval, with a design of roses.
But this is incredible. Oh, Jack, you didn't meet Amy at State Teachers, did you? You didn't propose marriage?
Oh, come off it, Florence.
Well, this is the strangest thing because, well, Amy, you've described the room perfectly. Now here, see for yourself.
Yes, just as Jack described it.
Well, there's no understanding this. I just can't fathom it. You must have second sight. Or something.
No,
No more talk now. You're tired and upset. And what you need is a good nap. Dinner won't be for several hours. I'll call you when it's ready.
Thank you.
And you can look forward to dinner. We're having steak. New York cut, no less. Jack adores steak. New York cut.
Who is it? Who's there?
Quiet, Amy.
Jack.
Quiet, I said. Just listen to me, darling.
Darling?
The dearest, most darling girl in the world.
But,
Look, there's no time to explain. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I've got to get you out of here fast. I can't take a chance on my wife waking up and finding me gone.
You are married. Florence is your wife.
Yes, but we did meet, you and I do love you and want to marry you.
Oh, marry me when you're already married?
Please, stop talking. Get this robe on. We've got to move fast.
Oh, but where are we going?
Out of this house.
In robe and slippers?
Look, I'll explain later. Come on now, let's go.
Where? Go where, Jack?
Florence.
Your wife, standing in the door with an axe in her hand. Oh, Jack! Jack, what does this mean?
What indeed does it mean? Why does Jack want to get Amy out of that house as fast as he can? What is his wife, Florence, doing with an axe? One thing is virtually sure. However incredible events have been for Amy up to now, they are as nothing to what lies ahead. Mystery Theater will be back shortly with Act 2. G.K. Chesterton is fond of saying that an adventure was merely an inconvenience viewed in the right light. Perhaps then one may say that the incredible is merely the credible viewed in the wrong light. However that may be, to come to the home of a man you expect to marry and to discover him already married, and on top of that to find yourself facing his wife at 2 a.m. with an axe in her hand.
Really, Amy, Mother was right about you after all. You are playing tricks.
Oh, no. No, I assure you...
Then what is my husband doing in your room at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you in your nightgown?
I can explain.
Do that, Jack. Please do.
First, give me the axe, Florence.
Tempted to ask where you'd like it. Just explain your presence in Amy's room, Jack.
Well, I thought I heard her cry out. I thought she might be in trouble. I came to see if she was all right.
Just a nightmare, Florence. I had a nightmare.
That's hardly surprising with all you've been through.
Well, I guess so.
Could I have the axe now, Florence?
Oh, of course. Here. You see, I heard you cry out too, Amy.
You did?
Yes. And I thought there might be an intruder in the house. Burglar, something like that.
You keep an axe in your bedroom?
Well, it's an old house. Very old. Our bedroom, Jack's and mine, has a fireplace in it. We keep a small supply of wood there. And sometimes it has to be split. You didn't think I was going to chop you, did you?
No.
Well, Jack and I will go back to our bedroom now. Come, Jack. Oh, and Amy.
Yes?
Try not to have any more nightmares. More toast and marmalade, Amy?
Thank you, no.
Coffee, then.
No, frankly, I'm anxious to get started. Get that train for Midvale. I don't want to miss it.
You won't miss it. Plenty of time.
Well, there really isn't, Florence. There's just under half an hour, and it takes 15 minutes to reach the station.
I know.
So, I think we better get started, Amy. Your bag's packed and in the hall, so let's go.
You?
Well, I'll drive her to the station.
I was planning to do that.
No, I'll do it.
No, Jack, no. Waste of gas.
I mean, waste. You take her or I take her. What's the waste?
I have to go into town, shopping to do for the weekend. And you don't.
I see.
I can do my shopping at the same time.
Yes, I see.
So that'll mean only one round trip instead of two.
I said I see, Florence.
Saves gas.
Yes.
Well, if we're going to get started...
Oh, but first you must see the rose garden.
No,
yes. I mean, how can you even think of leaving without seeing it? In some unaccountable way, you do know what it looks like, but, well, if I were you, I'd want to see it for myself.
Well, there isn't time.
Of course there is. Take a moment. Let's all go to the rose garden. And aren't these lovely? Hybrid teas.
Yes, but, time...
And this rambler. Isn't it gorgeous?
Yes. Oh, yes, you're certainly to be complimented, Mrs. Morton.
Thank you. Oh, but this isn't her garden, you know. It's mine, really.
But Jack said...
Jack said. Jack couldn't have said anything. Now, could he? Since you didn't meet him till yesterday. Or did you? Did you meet her at State Teachers, Jack?
I've told you I never saw her before in my life.
Yes, but I've been thinking. You know how I am? Always thinking. Sometimes my head aches terribly.
Oh, please, we're going to miss my train.
I think about so many things. Now, you take this rose garden. She gets the credit for it. Always has got the credit for it. When I'm the one who designed it, created it, planted it. Even your father had to admit it was beautiful, Jack. Remember?
Yes.
Oh, how that man hated me, reviled me, scorned me. But even he admitted that my rose garden was a thing of beauty.
Florence, we've got to go. Now, if Amy's going to get her train.
Yes. Oh, yes. But first, I wanted to see these floribunda. Aren't they gorgeous?
They are, yes.
Note the deep, dark red of the blossoms. Very dark, very deep red.
Lovely.
Do you know why?
Cultivation, I suppose.
Blood.
Blood?
Mr. Morton's blood. Jack's father's blood. This is where we found him. Hacked to bits.
Oh, Jack.
Easy,
I
Mom,
can't
easy,
bear this.
Mom.
His blood had
Florence,
poured
Florence.
onto the soil, into it, saturating it. Would you believe that before that day, these roses had been rather weak, skimpy, subject to all sorts of diseases? But afterwards, they'd literally burgeoned with health and beauty. Would you believe that?
Now, look, whether I believe it or not, we can't stay here another second.
Why not?
My train, that's why not. The only daily train to Midvale. Are you deliberately trying to make me miss it?
But of course not. What a thing to say. I only wanted you to see the rose garden.
Well, now that I've seen it, let's go, please.
Whatever you say, whatever you say.
I'll go along too, Florence.
You, Mother? Whatever for?
Some shopping myself.
Well, why not? We'll all go together. You too, Jack.
Well, no, I'll stay here.
Not a chance, Jack. Not a
Oh,
chance.
excuse me, but while we're doing all this talking, time is slipping by. I don't want to miss that train.
Of course you don't. But before we go, I do want you to know, Amy, what a pleasure it's been having you stay with us.
Thank you.
Of course, you haven't enjoyed it. Poor dear. But never mind. You're sure to find a husband. So attractive. So pretty.
Could we go now?
Come on. Come on, Jack, Mother, Amy, get in the car. We just have time to make the Midvale train. Luckily, as you see, Amy, the garage fronts on the street.
Luckily.
Well, we can drive right out into the street and not waste time. Drive right straight out.
Yes.
Now, if the garage was in the back of the house, waste time, a minute or two, and we don't have it to waste.
Could we get started?
Oh, you are in a hurry.
Well, you said yourself we don't have any time to spare.
That's why you don't have to tell me.
I'm sorry.
I should think you would be. Well, here we go.
Something wrong?
Damp, I guess.
Suppose you let me drive, Florence.
How can you drive, Mother, if the car won't start? No time to spare and it won't start.
Look, I'll get a
By
taxi.
the time a taxi gets here, your call and everything, you'd miss the train.
But we're certainly not going to get anywhere this way. The battery's wearing down.
Correction. It's worn down.
Oh, no. Well, that means I'll never make the train to Midvale.
Well, now, I resent that, Amy. You sound as if spending another night with us here would be most unpleasant to you.
Oh, no. No, I
We
didn't
did
mean...
try to make everything as pleasant as possible for you. Back in the house, all.
Look, if I went down to the corner and got a cab...
Amy,
Yes?
do as Florence says.
Of course, Jack. Of course.
Out of the car. Back in the house, all.
Oh, look! A taxi! A taxi pulling up right in front. Oh, good heavens, I forgot. Joe!
Joe? Who's Joe?
My brother. All the excitement and all, I forgot. He was coming to give me away.
Okay, driver, thanks.
Oh, no, Joe, wait! Keep that cab! Driver, don't drive off! Wait!
It's all right, driver. Go on.
No, wait! Please, wait! Joe, hold that cab!
Amy, what
Driver!
in the world?
Driver, wait!
Go on, driver. Go on. We don't need you.
For criminy sake, go stay. Go stay.
He's gone. He's gone.
Amy, baby, sis, what is this?
Oh, she's all upset. All upset. I'm Florence Morton. How do you do?
Oh, Joe Prentice, Amy's brother. Amy, what's...
You understand, Joe. I may call you Joe.
Oh, yeah. but-
Amy's all upset. You know how it is, getting married for the first time. Nerves.
Oh, sure.
Joe.
You Jack Morton?
Yes, I am.
Ah, glad to meet you, Jack. Great pleasure. And you're, Jack's sister, huh?
She's
Let's all
my...
go into the house. Come on now. Come on. Have you had breakfast, Joe?
I have something on the train.
Well, you want more than that. Eggs, bacon, toast, and marmalade, hot coffee. In the house, everybody.
No.
Amy, in the house.
Hey, what's going on here? You're all acting like... Well, I don't know.
Wedding plans, Joe, wedding plans. Everybody uptight. You understand.
Yeah, sure. Florence, is it?
Florence. Everybody in. Everybody in. Well, now, here we are. All together once again.
Joe.
Yeah, Amy?
Joe, there's something crazy going on in this house. Something real crazy.
Now, Amy, honey.
Joe, listen to me. There's something wrong. I don't know what it's all about. I don't know what's happening, but Jack says he never saw me before in his life.
What?
And never proposed marriage to me, and then he did. And his wife, she came to my bedroom with an axe in her hand.
Hold it, for chimney's sake, hold it. Amy, you're not making sense.
Oh, I know I'm not, because what's happening here, what's happened to me doesn't make sense either.
Will somebody explain this?
I'll explain it. Mr. Prentice, Joe, a mistake of some kind has been made.
A mistake?
Your sister, well, I haven't wanted to spell this out in so many words, but since you're here now and can take care of her, Joe, I'm afraid your sister is crazy.
You're afraid my sister is crazy?
Well, she came here yesterday afternoon, arrived just out of the blue, out of nowhere, saying she'd come to marry my husband.
You don't mean him?
Yes, him. Jack. My husband.
He's your...
My husband, Jack, yes. Somehow your sister has got it into her head that they met at teachers' conference, and he proposed marriage, but, well, it's ridiculous.
You, Jack. You say you never met Amy?
No.
Jack, last night in my room,
Now,
you
hold
said...
it, Amy, just hold it. Let me try to get this thing straight. You didn't meet her at a teachers' conference? State Teachers College?
Not me. I'm an insurance salesman.
This is plain screwy. Amy, if you say you met him and he asked you to marry him, I say you met him and he asked you to marry him. But he says...
I never saw her, talked to her, knew anything about her until she arrived here yesterday.
I see. Well, either you're a liar, Mr. Morton, or you're crazy. If anybody around here has lost his marbles, you have, not her. Now, Amy, what do you want to do about this?
I just want to get out of here.
And that's what we'll do. Where's the phone?
Over there, but I'm afraid
Let me just call a cab and we'll blow.
You can't.
You going to stop me?
The phone's out of order.
Now, we'll see about that. It's dead, all right. No wonder. The wire's been pulled out of the box on the wall. Now, what is going on here? Who pulled those wires out of the box and why? Come on, damn it, answer me. Who and why?
You're like Jack's father, all male. He was a Taurus, a bull, strong, masculine like you. He thought like you.
What are you, some women's liver?
I'm me. I'm Florence Morton. And I don't take anything from you or anybody else. His father learned that the hard way.
What do you mean, the hard way?
she killed him with an axe.
Killed him. Killed him. Hacked him to pieces.
He had to be killed. I certainly wasn't going to live out my life with him dominating me. Stupid, he called me. Stupid, like that. One day I said to him, "You call me stupid once more and I'll kill you." We're in the garden. Maybe you noticed there's a wood pile in one corner, Amy.
Yes.
And there was this axe he used for splitting wood. You know what he did?
No.
Guess.
Please.
He picked up the axe and handed it to me. "Go ahead," he said. "Kill me, stupid." Was he surprised?
Hacked him to bits. To bits.
Amy, come on. We're getting out of here.
Goodbye, Joe. Goodbye, Amy.
Goodbye. This door's locked. It's bolted on the inside.
Oh, I thought you knew. You didn't see me bolt and lock it when we came in?
All right, give me the key.
So you can unlock it?
What else?
Uh-uh.
Now look, you...
Joe, please, don't cross her. Please, don't cross her. She'll kill us all.
Joe. Joe.
Take it easy, Amy. We're not dead yet.
Not yet, Joe. Not quite yet.
Ever been face to face with a homicidal maniac, with everything stacked against you? Happily, I never have, and I hope you never have been either. But Amy and Joe are, and so are Jack and his mother. What I can't figure out is why Jack, with a homicidal wife at home, ever proposed marriage to Amy. Well, we'll have the answer to that one when Mystery Theater returns shortly with Act 3. Terror can be a thing so palpable you can feel it, clammy to your touch, ice cold in your veins, a taste of glass in your mouth. Certainly, this is what Amy feels, along with the Mortons and her brother Joe, as Florence Morton makes all too clear the fact that they are not going to leave the old house on Hilliard Street alive.
Look, Florence, I don't get any of this. I don't get any of it except all this hate you got in you. You can't blame my sister for it, and you can't blame me. So we're leaving now.
No.
Joe, she's got a gun.
I can see that, Amy. Question is, will she use it?
Yes, she'll use it all right. You better understand something, Joe. She's a killer, a homicidal maniac.
Then what the hell is she doing here? Why isn't she in an asylum?
She was. She escaped just a day before I got back from the teachers' conference.
Jack.
Amy, I am sorry. So sorry. I pretended I'd never seen you before, tried to get you to leave before you set foot in this house because Florence was right there behind me all the time, and I knew she'd kill you sooner or later. Kill you.
9 years. 9 long years. They kept me in that place. But I knew. I always knew someday I'd get out.
But, Jack, if you're married to her...
No, I'm not. Not anymore. I had the marriage annulled a year ago. The authorities agreed Florence would never be cured.
So where are these authorities now? Didn't they figure she'd head straight for this house?
They telephoned to let me know she'd escaped. Asked me to notify them if she did come here. And all the time I was talking on the phone, she had a gun against my head.
You're going to die. You're all going to die.
Not if I can help it, lady.
You can't help it. There isn't a thing you can do.
We'll see about that. One thing I don't believe in is just standing here waiting for you to kill us. Me, I fight fire with fire.
Oh? And just how do you think you'll... fight fire with fire? Fire!
Florence, what are you thinking
Be
of
quiet,
doing?
Jack. I'm thinking. Fire. You know, Joe, you've given me the idea I was looking for.
I gave you...
I've been wondering how to kill you all at once. And now I know. Into the kitchen.
What for?
You'll see, Mother. Into the kitchen, all. And now, Jack, dear, loving husband, open the cellar door.
You're taking us down to the cellar?
Putting you down in the cellar, Jack. Open the door. Now, down into the cellar with you. You lead the way, Jack.
Look, Florence...
Don't argue, Jack. Just go.
No, we're not... My leg!
You all right?
Oh, Joe.
You may be able to fight fire, Joe, but you can't fight bullets. Now, Amy, help your brother down into the cellar.
Joe.
Take it easy.
Oh,
Pain
you're bleeding.
I'll be okay.
Oh.
She hit me in the thigh, fleshy part.
You better let me have a look at that wound, Joe, okay?
Okay.
Let him bleed to death, Jack. It'll be easier for him. Sorry I can't make it easier for you all.
Oh, she's locked us in down here.
Is there another door?
No, there's not even a window. We're trapped. Absolutely no way out.
Is there any way of breaking that door down? Prying it open,
No,
maybe?
Joe, this is an old house. It's built when they really built them. Break that door down. No way.
Oh!
Look, try to hold still. It's not that bad, but it's bleeding quite a lot. I've got to stop the bleeding. Look, Amy.
Yes, dear.
Just around that corner, you'll find a desk.
A desk?
Yeah, I have my office set up there.
Oh.
In the bottom drawer on the right, you'll find a first aid kit. Now, bring it here, will you?
Yes.
Oh, Jack. Jack, what are we going to do? How are we going to get out of here?
Mom, if I had the answer to that...
Jack, there's a telephone here on your desk.
Yeah, with the wires pulled out of the wall box. Florence didn't miss a trick.
Oh, yes. Oh, they are pulled out.
Look, hurry with that first aid kit.
Here it is, Jack. Here.
Thanks. Have you patched up in a jiffy, Joe. Though much good it'll do you, I'm afraid.
Don't lose your nerve. Me, I've been in worse binds than this. Vietnam, for one. My work, for another.
What do you do, Joe?
I'm a cop, New York City Police Force. Man, I've been in spots that make this look like... Hey, wait. She's up there. That's not the kitchen.
No, it's the living room, right above us.
What was that?
She put something down on the floor, something heavy and made of metal. What could it be, Jack?
I don't know, unless it's... Wait a minute.
What, Jack? What?
Metal? Fire? I keep a can of gasoline in the garage for the lawnmower.
How big a can?
2 gallons.
Was it full?
I'm afraid so, and I'm afraid I'm right. I smell gasoline.
It's dripping down through the floorboards above us.
She's going to set the house on fire. She's going to burn it down around our heads.
And kill herself, the poor crazy woman. Florence! Florence, listen to me! Florence, you'll kill yourself! Strike a match and the gasoline fumes! The fumes, Florence, they'll explode!
You're right. She lights that stuff. She'll never get out alive.
Florence, will you listen? Will you please listen? Oh, God, she's done it!
A house this old. It'll go up like a haystack, a dry haystack.
We're all going to die. Burned alive.
Oh, no.
We gotta try that door. We gotta see can we break it down. Jack, give me a hand. We'll both get our shoulders against it. When I give the word...
What?
Oh, forget it. The door's hot already. Flames on the other side. Even if we got it open, we'd never get out. There's got to be something we can do. There's got to be.
What are the neighbors?
Neighbors?
Oh, they'll see the house burning. Call the fire
Well,
department.
what good'll that do us?
They'll rescue us. Get us out of
No,
here.
Amy, honey, they don't know we're down here.
Oh.
Wait a minute. There's one chance. Just one chance.
What, Joe?
Telephone.
No, I told you, Florence pulled the wires out of the wall box.
We gotta see can we connect them again.
You think you can? Or do you?
Jack.
Oh.
What? Thank God you set up your office down here with a phone. If we can reconnect those wires, let's get this wall box open. You got any tools down here?
Yeah, top drawer of my desk. One of those little kits. Here, what do you want?
Get a screwdriver.
Yeah, here you go.
Now, get this lid open. Right. Easy. Yeah. It's coming.
Oh,
Right.
hurry, Joe. Hurry.
There. Off with the lid.
Oh, good.
Oh, no.
What?
3 wires. Red, blue, and green. 3 poles to attach them to.
So attach them.
Yeah, but which wire to which pole?
Hey!
Oh, it's falling.
Look, Joe,
Falling.
Joe, try something.
What do you think I'm doing?
Oh.
See. Red to this pole. Blue to this one. Green here. All right, see, can you get a dial tone?
No, nothing. Try again. Joe, move it.
Let's see. Put the red here. Blue there. And green on this pole. Okay. Anything, Jack?
That's it. I got a dial tone.
Well, use it. Get the operator.
This is your operator. May I help you?
Operator, I'm calling from a burning house. 37 Hilliard Street. The fire department's just arriving, but they don't know we're in the cellar. We're in the cellar. Amy, here. Fire chief just gave me another thermos of coffee. Have some more.
Oh, thanks, Jack. Joe?
They've got Joe in the ambulance unit over there. They're really patching up his leg.
Isn't he wonderful? I think I've got the most wonderful brother in the world.
Well, I think he's got the most wonderful sister in the world.
I'm sorry about Florence.
Lord knows I am, too, but it's better this way. Mom, are you okay?
Even the rose garden's gone. The heat killed everything.
Maybe that's better, too, Mom.
Oh, how could it be?
How? I'm going to see to it you have another house, another rose garden, without the memories that went with this one. Memories we're all going to do our best to forget.
I'll be back shortly with a final word. So, what began as mystery created by Florence Morton ended as tragedy for Florence Morton. And perhaps for the best, as Jack said. She is at peace now, and if in death she has not found a better world, as we very much hope she has, she's at least out of this one, which brought her so much unhappiness. Jack and Amy Morton are happily married now. Amy no longer teaches, at least not in school, because she has two youngsters to keep her more than busy. The boy is named Joe, the girl Florence. As for Mother Morton, she has another garden, but not roses or vegetables. Our cast included Janet Waldo, Ann Seymour, Lorene Tuttle, Bill Quinn, and Bernard Barrow. Associate Director, Marlon Swing. This is Hyman Brown, producer-director, inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, then, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. Welcome to Mystery Theater. I'm Hyman Brown. Of all the fears that plague mankind, probably the most terrible was the possibility of being buried alive. Oh, don't shrink away. You have nothing to fear, modern medical science being what it is. But not so many years ago, the thought of waking up in one's closed coffin beneath 6 feet of earth, that was a horrible thought indeed, and an ever-present danger, which led, in at least one case, to a remarkably strange experiment.
Let me go. Oh, please let me go. I'm dead, I tell you. I'm dead.
Guy, I must release her.
No.
Gordon, no, she's alive.
Only my spirit lives. My body has been dead for days.
Guy, I beg you, let me release her from the spell of mesmerism I cast over her.
Yes. Release me.
No, Victory, no. Oh, no, my darling. If I let Gordon break his hold on you, you will be dead, and I can't face the horror of that.
Then a worse horror awaits you. Horror. Far, far worse.
Our mystery drama, The Premature Burial, was adapted from the Edgar Allan Poe classic, especially for the Mystery Theater, by George Lothar, and stars Keir Delay. I'll be back shortly with Act 1. As you may know, I'm an inveterate and incurable reader of diaries. The Paston letters, John Evelyn, Pepys, Boswell. I've read them all, and many more besides. Daily journals of lesser-known people. In so doing, I've happened upon some curious tales, but none, I assure you, that can match the sheer terror of the one I bring you now. I happened upon it years ago in a small, out-of-the-way bookshop in London, England. It's the journal of a young doctor, Dr. Gordon Rainey, and it recounts certain events that took place in the year 1810. Now, let me see where to begin. Oh, yes, here. I arrived at the Bull and Bear Inn in Salisbury, the doctor writes, in the worst of storms.
And having stabled my horse and seen to its proper care, soon found myself in the rooms my friend Guy Peterson had in for himself. In all the years I'd known him, since undergraduate days at Cambridge, I'd never known this closest of my friends to be in such a state of overwrought nerves.
Thank God you come, Gordon. Thank God you're here at last, my friend.
I came as soon as I could after getting your message, but what is it? I've never seen you in such a state of nerves. Thank God, you're actually trembling.
She's dead. Dead, you see, and they buried her last week, but I must see her once again. Gaze on her face and...
Now look at me.
What?
Look at me. Look full into my eyes.
What? Gordon, what are you doing?
I'm merely calming you down through the use of mesmerism.
Mesmerism? What in heaven's name is that? And why do you stare at me? As if I...
That's right, old friend, that's right. Calm down. Quiet yourself. Relax. Just loosen up. Let yourself go. That's it. That's it. There now. Feel better?
Why, yes. But how did you do it? What is this? Mesmerism, did you say?
Yes. A means of controlling another person by, well, to put it simplistically, dominating him with one's own will, the force of one's own willpower.
But that's miraculous, and yet you did it. I feel ever so much calmer now because you made me.
Good. And now, Guy, calmly tell me why you sent that urgent message to meet you here in Salisbury.
Victorine is dead.
Ah, well, I know how you must feel, and of course I sympathize deeply, but her death, isn't it a blessing?
A blessing? She's dead. Victorine is dead.
And at last free of the hellish life Sir Giles Buckingham led her. Come now, Guy. Is that not something to thank God for?
Well, I suppose so.
Oh, my dear good friend. I know how much you loved her.
Loved her? She was my heart, my soul, my very life. A life that's ended for me when her family forced her to marry Sir Giles.
We've talked of it again and again, but now that she is dead, perhaps you can try to take up your life again.
I must see her, Gordon.
See her?
That's why I'm here. Why I asked you here. I must see her, Gordon. Gaze upon her lovely face once more.
But she's buried a week ago, you said.
In the family vault on the Buckingham estate. I want to go there tonight. Force entry into the vault. Open her coffin. And look at her once more. Just once more. I need you because I fear to go alone.
There is more to fear than that, Guy.
What do you mean?
A body, dead and buried for a week in a damp and virtually airless vault. Guy, you will not see Victorine as she was in life.
I shall see her.
Guy, this is mad. I beg you to...
I must! I don't care what she has become. I must see her once more. Must I do it alone? Or will you help me?
If it is your wish, you wish it so strongly, then... Yes, I'll help you.
We must be Be careful not to be discovered, Gordon. This moonlight makes everything as clear as day.
There'll be no one about unless the estate is guarded at night against poachers.
Let's hope not. Wind kicking up. That should help a little. Cover any sound we make.
Yes.
Here's the gate to the estate.
Yeah. Is it locked?
Soon find out. No. Come. There. So much for that.
Now, the location of the vault, do you know where it is?
Yes. That line of copper beeches on the hill. Do you see them?
Yes.
The vault lies just beyond. Come.
Wait.
That barking dog. If the place is guarded by a dog or even dogs...
Now, don't let your nerves get the best of you. Bad enough to face trouble when it comes, not before.
That dog. It's here on the grounds and closer. Gordon?
Steady, man, steady. Yes, it's on the grounds, all right, and coming this way. Come, let's step out into the open.
Into the open?
If the dog is coming this way, I want to meet it in full moonlight.
Why, Gordon? Why?
Because my only chance of subduing the beast, if it can be done, will be with my eyes. My voice, too, yes, but the eyes. There, I see it, coming over the hill against the moonlight.
Good Lord. A monstrous animal, Gordon.
It's a mastiff, and a big one. And he's caught our scent. Come on, step out into the moonlight. Quickly, or all is lost.
Yes. Gordon, I'm scared.
Stand still. Make no move. Leave this to me. All right, boy. Quiet down. Quiet down now. That's a good dog. That's it. We're not here to do you any harm, boy. We're friends. Your friends. Yes, that's right, boy. There's a good dog. A fine dog.
Unbelievable. You stopped him with your eyes. Held him to the one spot just by looking at him, and with your voice you soothed him. You calmed him. Took all the fight out of him.
Yes. And now, let's get on to the vault.
Here we are. The vault.
Locked?
Afraid so. I'll have to use the pry bar I brought.
Well, be as quiet as you can.
Yes. There. Gate's open. We can go in. Light the lantern, Gordon.
Guy, once more, I urge you not to go through with this.
I must. You know I must.
Now listen to me.
Light the lantern.
I'm lighting the lantern, but listen to me. You remember Victorine as she was, the lovely, innocent, gentle girl who was forced to marry Sir Giles 7 years ago. The torments he put her through, the daily torture of living with such a beast, these alone would have changed her face. But she's dead as well, and buried here a whole week. Guy, I beg you once again, remember her as she was, not as she must now be.
Shine the lantern about.
Very well.
Oh, dear heaven. There are at least a dozen coffins piled one on another. How can we tell which is Victorine's?
Well, hers would be one of the topmost. Yes, and the velvet covering would be the newest. The brass studs still bright. Ah, that one up there, I think.
Let's get it down and see.
Just let me put the lantern over there. So. Now then, I'll take the head of the coffin, you the other end. Can you reach it?
Just.
All right, pull then. Now, pull it to the edge. And when we get it to the edge, we can put our hands under it and let it down very gently.
Yes. Gordon.
I heard it.
What was it? It couldn't be. Can't be what I thought. Shh. A voice. And it comes from inside the coffin. Oh, dear heaven above. This is Victorine's. Gordon. She's alive. Alive.
Let's put it on the ground. On the ground. Easy now. Easy. The pry bar now. Pry off the lid.
Yes.
Well, hurry, man.
My nerves! Hands trembling, no strength.
Oh, give it to me. Now then.
Hurry! Hurry!
Well, I'm working as fast as I can. There.
The lantern. Quickly, the lantern!
Yes, yes.
Shine it into the coffin.
There.
Oh, look! Victorine alive! Alive!
Guy, it's you. It's you. Oh, God, thank you. Horrors I've been through.
All right, gently now, my dear, gently.
Gordon, you, Gordon.
Yes, my dear. Come on, Guy, lend a hand. Help me lift her out.
Oh, I can't believe this.
Buried alive, oh, my dearest. It must have been horrible for you.
I don't want to think about it. I can't tell you. To wake up, at first not knowing where you are, and everything black, pitch black, suffocating, scarce enough air to breathe.
Best not to think about it.
And then you move, and you feel the sides of the coffin, narrow, so narrow, and you reach up and you touch the lid, but the lid's only an inch or two from your face, and then suddenly, you know. Oh, heaven help me, you know. You scream with the terror of it. You scream and scream and
Stop
scream.
it. Stop it at once. At once.
Yes, Gordon.
You're alive, and that's all that matters.
Yes.
And thanks to what I called a mad impulse, you're safe.
Oh, yes. Oh, my darling girl, my dearest.
Sweetheart. Sweetheart.
Now, listen
Oh,
to me, you two. Listen, we face a problem.
What problem?
Well, how are you going to take her back to Sir Giles? How explain all this? Sir Giles will have us arrested for breaking and entering.
She's not going back to Sir Giles. She's coming with me, away from this hellish place.
Oh, my darling.
You can't do that. She is his wife.
I'll die before I let Sir Giles get his hand on her.
A promise you may very well keep, my dear sir.
What?
It's Giles.
How did you...
The barking of my dog aroused me. I, in turn, roused my keepers, who are out and about scouring the woods. As it happens, I came this way, saw the light of your lantern flickering in the vault, and prepared to surprise what I thought to be grave robbers. Well, as it happens, I am the one surprised. Indeed, I'm shocked. I scarcely expected to find Victorine alive.
Yes, she's alive. And from here on, Sir Giles will live, I pray, a far happier life with me than ever she did with you. Move aside, sir.
I think not. If you're going anywhere, my friend, you and your accomplice, it's to jail. As for my wife, since she is returned to life, she will also return to me.
Oh, no.
You don't move, sir, I warn you. But if you do, it will give me extreme pleasure to blow your head off with this gun. Extreme pleasure.
I confess that at this point in Dr. Gordon's journal, I thought the tale was over and done with. I was wrong, for it was only the beginning. Mystery Theater will continue shortly with Act 2. Well, as I said, I thought that Dr. Gordon Rainey's story had come to an end. He had gone with his friend, Guy Peterson, to the vault where the woman he loved lay dead in her coffin, only to find her alive. And then, as he planned to run away with her to save her from further torments at the hands of her husband, he was stopped by the appearance of that same husband, gun in hand, promising to have him and Dr. Rainey jailed.
Giles, I entreat you. Let them go. They've done no harm. On the contrary, if it hadn't been for Guy and Dr. Rainey, I'd even now be lying in my coffin, alive.
Would that you were. Damn you, woman, would that you were. Your unexpected return from the grave will lose me a fortune.
But how can my being alive cost you anything?
Lady Hastings is a widow. Lady Hastings has an income of $30,000 a year. I proposed marriage to her on Tuesday,
And she accepted me.
You proposed marriage to another woman 3 days after your wife died?
Why not? I'm alive, very much alive. And to live, one needs money. Why the look, Dr. Rainey?
You have more sense, it seems, than sensitivity, Sir Giles.
Insulting me will only worsen matters for you, Doctor, if that's possible. You can't be as unaware as you would like to seem that your career is ruined. A doctor, a physician, arrested for breaking and entering a mortuary, a sacred repository of the dead.
Sir Giles, you mustn't do this to Dr. Rainey. He helped me because he's my friend, a good and true friend. He was against it from the very start and would never have agreed to assist me had it not been for his deep and abiding sense of loyalty.
Oh, do stop, do, or you shall have me in tears.
Tears from a stone. A miracle.
Stone, am I? Very well, then. Stone that will crush you, dear wife. Crush you until the death you've escaped will seem a paradise to you.
Put down that gun and I'll...
But I've no intention of putting down the gun. Certainly not until the bailiff arrives and takes you into custody, to jail, where I shall see to it you rot, the two of you.
What do you mean, rot?
I mean, quite simply, that once you're put in jail, you will never leave it. You will rot there, Doctor.
You make no sense, Sir Giles. The penalty for breaking and entering...
Penalties? Who speaks of penalties?
I do. There are laws in this nation.
But only one law here, me. I am the law in the village of Buckingham. I am Buckingham.
Oh, and he is.
No, Sir Giles. You will not imprison this man for the rest of his life, nor will you imprison me.
Oh? And may I ask why not?
Because I say so. Because I tell you so. No, don't look away. Look at me. Look into my eyes. Have the courage to look into them and tell me then. Will you imprison us?
Mesmerism.
Why, such is my intention, yes.
Is your intention, Sir Giles, or was?
Well, it certainly was. I mean to say, well, the way you put it, most eloquently.
Good Lord. It's working. He's doing it again.
Doing what?
And you, being a man of sensitivity, my eloquence, the validity of what I say, has touched you. Is that not so? It is so, isn't it?
Yes. Seen in a different light, so to speak, yes, it would serve no purpose to put you in jail. None really.
And so you let us go? You will let us go?
Yes, go. Get out of my sight, the two of you, and never come back.
Let us leave, Guy.
Victorine.
Under the law, there's nothing we can do. She is his wife.
I can't leave her.
You must. The bailiff will be here any moment, and I can't dominate Sir Giles' will with mine much longer.
Victorine.
Go, my darling.
What? To leave you with him?
No, whatever happens to me will be harder to bear if you are in prison. Go, I entreat you. Go.
Second thought.
He's coming out of it. Guy, my friend, I've done all I can for you, and I'll not see my career ruined because you...
Because you're right. Goodbye, my darling, my dearest.
Goodbye.
Mesmerize me, Gordon. Do something. Do anything to relieve me of this torment.
You must control yourself.
I think of her, dream of her. She is never out of my thought, and always I am stricken with the thought that my very imaginings are as nothing to what he is really doing to her. The beatings, the starving of her, her very loneliness, the vile subjection to his passions. Oh, merciful heaven, I shall go out of my mind.
Yes, Guy, you shall. Unless you pull yourself together. Now, if you don't stop thinking of her, if you don't stop letting your fancy invent miseries she is very likely not suffering, you will go insane. You will.
Someone at the door.
Who? Were you expecting someone?
No one. Whom would I want to see?
I'll answer. Victorine!
Save me, Gordon, save me.
Good heavens. Come in, my dear. Guy, look, it's Victorine.
Victorine? Oh. It is. It is. My dearest,
I could bear it no more. Oh, yes. Oh, hold me in your arms. Hold me.
Oh, Victorine.
He may kill me, but I'll never go back. Never. He never loved me. And now he hates me because I keep him from marrying Lady Hastings and her fortune and makes me pay. Oh, save me from him. Never let him take me back.
Gordon, she's fainting.
Here, Victorine, some brandy. Now, lie down on the couch.
There, my love. Lie back. Relax.
Let me take over, Guy. Go and bar the door, and bar it solidly.
Bar the...
He must know she has fled, and to where she has fled, and he cannot risk her out of his sight because...
Because what? Damn it, what? Say it!
No, let me say it for him. Because once again I am near death.
No!
Yes. Unless I can find rest. Unless I can feel myself safe from him. I shall die.
You will not.
I want to die.
Now stop talking, man, for once act. Now bar that door.
Yes.
Too late.
No, I threw the bolt.
Not enough.
Open up, I say, or I'll have the door broken down.
Gordon, what shall I do?
Unless you want a smashed door with nothing gained. Open it.
Open, you hear? Open!
He'll take her back to Buckingham.
Yes, he will. She's his wife. There's nothing you can do.
Now, damn you all. At it again, are you? Stealing my wife? Taking what belongs to me? You men, take her.
No.
Over my dead body.
Take her.
No.
Enough! Oh, enough! Stand back or I'll brain you with this candlestick. All right, then. You'll be next, my friend. If you don't...
Very well. Move back. You're quite a hand with a candlestick, Dr. Rainey.
Yes.
You've laid my man out. I trust you know what this means for you.
Perhaps you should consider what it means for you, Sir Giles.
Me, sir?
Yes, you're not in Buckingham now. You're in London.
Seeking a wife who's run from her husband to a lover.
No, sir. A woman who has come to her doctor.
What? What do you say?
Your is dangerously ill. You have only to use your eyes to see that. I, being her friend, I am sure she sought me at my residence, and, not finding me there, came here.
Adroit? Most adroit, Dr. Rainey. May I ask, then, if you've prescribed for her illness?
Not as yet, Sir Giles.
But you will?
Yes.
Not good enough, Dr. Rainey. As her husband, or lawful husband, I intend to take her back with me to Buckingham. Victorine, my darling, come with me.
No.
Oh, really, now, you've no choice.
No.
Take your hands off her.
No.
Guy, you have no recourse. In the eyes of the law, she is his wife. He wants her, and you cannot keep her from him.
Sensibly said, Doctor. Here, dear wife, good wife, faithful and loyal wife, take my hand and let me help you from off that couch. Take my hand.
Vile. You are vile. Filthy. Foul. I shall never touch you again. I'd rather burn off my hands than touch you, you evil man. I'll die rather than go back with you. Die.
Damn you, come.
No. No. No.
Gordon.
She's dead.
Oh, no.
Are you sure, Doctor? She was pronounced dead once before, you know.
There is no pulse. I can detect no vital signs. To all intents and purposes, she is dead.
Ah, you modern-day doctors, always escaping in words and phrases, to all intents and purposes, which is to say, you're not sure.
Who is sure of anything, Sir Giles? However, considering what has gone before, we will keep her here under observation for a few days.
You'll do nothing of the sort. You men, pick her up and bear her to my carriage.
No! Wait, what are you doing?
Possessing myself of my property, sir, whether it be alive or dead.
But you can't do this.
Take her to my carriage.
Gordon!
There is nothing either of us can do. And Guy, she is dead. I'm virtually sure of that.
But if she is not...
Don't trouble yourself. Your own friend, a man you trust, Dr. Gordon Rainey, has pronounced her dead. All I intend to do is see that she is properly buried. This time, to stay properly buried.
Is she dead? You must understand, in those days, more than a century ago, one was never sure. Mystery Theater will return shortly with Act 3. Think for a moment how you would feel if you thought someone you loved might conceivably have been buried alive, and you will understand the feelings of Guy Peterson. Think again how you would feel if you were a close friend of Guy's, a physician who risks his career every time he consents to help Guy spirit his beloved from her tomb, and you will then understand why Dr. Gordon Rainey wrote in his journal,
I feel if Guy is not mad, he is close to it. He has never been a robust man, but on the contrary, something of a neurotic. So it was that I refused, and again refused when he begged.
Help me. I beg you, Gordon, help me.
That is what I am trying to do, by refusing what you ask. We were caught in the act of entering the Buckingham Vault the first time. We would surely be caught a second. There can be no doubt that Sir Giles is having the place guarded.
If there's a guard, we'll get past him somehow, or knock him unconscious, or yes, you could mesmerize him as you did that dog and Sir Giles.
Guy, my dear, good friend, listen to me. First, Victorine is dead.
How can you say that? She suffers, she must suffer from some sort of malady that makes her only appear to be dead. There are such maladies.
Yes, everything you say is true, but...
You admit she could yet be alive. Buried alive in that tomb even now.
Now, stop that. Stop it. The second thing I was going to point out is that mesmerism doesn't always work. Some people, the kind of peasant type who'd likely be guarding the vault, cannot be brought under the hypnotic influence.
Yes, but...
And a third thing is this. I am a doctor. If I get caught again, Sir Giles could end my career, and all I have tried to be, all the good I can accomplish in this world, would be set at naught. I'm sorry, Guy. I cannot risk it again.
Then I must do it alone.
You will not do it alone.
You cannot stop me. No one, nothing can stop me from rescuing Victorine from that vault.
Guy, you are mad. You are thinking irrationally, acting senselessly.
That's my concern, and certainly no longer yours.
Oh, Guy.
Leave me, Gordon. I must prepare for the journey to Salisbury. Well, leave, I said.
No. I'll go with you.
You've changed your mind?
I have not. But this is a mad business, and I'm a fool to help you, but I am also your friend.
Gordon?
Yes.
The vault is guarded.
Yes. I see the man. A big brute he is.
Do you think you can mesmerize him? Bring him under, what did you call it?
Hypnotic influence? I doubt it. He's the type I told you about. All muscle and little brain. It's a dark night to make things worse. You wouldn't be able to see my eyes clearly.
Do you dare try?
Well, I have no choice. But keep this in mind, Guy.
Yes?
If I fail, as I most certainly shall, run for it. Do you understand? Don't try to fight him. Run.
Yes, whatever you say.
All right, now then. Let's step out of these bushes and walk toward him. Say and do nothing. Leave things to me. Come.
Who's there?
Oh, don't shoot, friend.
Then stand where you be. There. Let me have a look at you.
Of course. We mean no harm, friend. We are simply two gentlemen who got lost in these woods, and so...
Well, how come you're lost? This here is Buckingham Manor, and it's surrounded, all of it, with an iron fence.
Yes.
How come you got in?
Well, we really don't know. It's a dark night, and our eyes couldn't see much.
A likely story.
You must believe me. My sight is very poor, as it is. Very poor. Look for yourself. Look into my eyes and see for yourself.
Here now, what is this? Look into your eyes. It's up to the manor house with you two. Well, your answer to Sir Giles for trespassing on his...
Guy.
That takes care of him.
You stabbed him.
Couldn't control him.
I said to run if I couldn't, but... Oh, Guy, I think you've killed him.
Quickly, into the vault.
Wait. What's happened to you? Don't you realize that you've just murdered a man and it's... Oh, you've gone mad. You have gone mad.
I am as sane as you. But mad or sane, I must get Victorine out of that vault. Now, come!
All right, but... Heaven help me, what have I got myself into now?
The pry bar bottle. Where is it? Where?
Well, you had it.
Oh, yes. I must hurry. Hurry, she's alive in there. Her coffin alive. I must... There. Come along, Gordon. Come along.
All right.
There. There's a coffin.
Yes.
Look fast. Get the lid off.
Insane. He's gone insane.
Victorine? Can you hear me? Are you alive, my dearest? Perhaps fainted. Huh, Gordon? That's possible, isn't it? Alive but in a faint?
Oh, Guy, my poor dear friend.
There. The lid's off and she...
Dead. As I told you, dead.
Well, we can't be sure. You know we can't be sure.
Guy, in the name of reason...
Help me! Help me get her out of the coffin.
To what purpose?
We'll take her back with us to London and...
Take her back where?
To my place.
The first place Sir Giles will come to.
Then to yours.
Mine? Do you realize what you're asking of me?
If you're the friend you claim to be...
But what you ask is impossible. You've already made me your unwitting accomplice to murder, and now... Guy, you are out of your mind.
And you, Gordon, are no friend.
Guy, I beg you, leave her where she is. She's dead. Leave her at peace.
She is not dead, and I am taking her back to London.
If whoever may read these pages of my journal thinks me a fool, I could not agree more. But Guy was my closest friend, and what's more, was clearly deranged by the love he bore Victorine, and his horror of letting her be buried alive. So we took her body to my rooms in London. 3 days she lay on the couch in my sitting room, Guy never leaving her side night or day. But on the 3rd day I knew something must be done to end this madness of his.
Look at her. There's no sign, not one, of decomposition.
Yes, because it is the middle of winter and we've kept the windows open and no fire in the fireplace. This sitting room of mine is a virtual ice house.
I know.
Now listen to me. What you persist in doing is not only lunacy, it is sacrilege. The dead deserve decent burial. If you love Victorine, as you say you do, let us bury her, Guy. Bury her tonight.
Where?
Then you will.
Yes. Where can we take her?
Well, I thought of that and prepared for it. A grave awaits her body in St. Pancras Cemetery. All is arranged. We can take her now under cover of night.
Then let us do it.
Good. Now, I've kept my carriage waiting below. Do you want to carry her, or shall I?
Let me. It will be the last time I hold her in my arms.
All right. Pick her up, Guy.
Yes. Gordon? Gordon, what was that?
It's nothing. Come on, let's go downstairs.
But she gave a sigh when I picked her up.
Guy.
You heard? Gordon, you heard?
Good Lord, I did. Here, move aside.
She's alive. I knew it. Alive.
Quiet, man. In heaven's name, be quiet. Victorine. Victorine, do you hear me?
Yes.
I have taken your hand in mine. Do you feel it?
No.
Can you open your eyes? If you can, open them.
She has. Gordon, she's gazing at me.
Victorine, do you see Guy?
Yes. Farewell, my darling. Farewell.
Farewell?
I am near death.
No.
Only a spark of life remains.
No! No, she must not die. Gordon, stop her.
What are you saying?
Mesmerism. The hypnotic influence. Use it.
Are you mad? Use it? How?
Command her not to die. Command her to live.
Command her to live? Command what to live when there was scarce a breath of life in her? Her mind, her spirit, what? But I did it. May God, in his infinite mercy, forgive me. I did it. Using the powers of mesmerism, I held her eyes with mine and commanded her, forced her to live. Even though, over and over, she cried out,
I am dead. Let me go. I'm dead.
But I did not let her go, could not let her go, because, yes, I confess it, because the experiment fascinated me. I, Dr. Gordon Rainey, committed for over 5 long weeks, committed the sin, the crime, the sacrilege of holding the spirit within a dead body to this earth, even though it pleaded, entreated, begged.
Release me. Oh, release me.
In a short time, yes. But tell me first, what are you? Spirit? Soul? Mind? What?
I am dead. Dead. Dead.
What's that?
Someone at the door. I'll answer.
You! Found you at last, eh, you damn grave robber?
Sir Giles.
Yes, and you, Dr. Rainey, who so help me, will no longer be called doctor when I'm through with you.
No, Giles, no.
Oh, what's this? She lives?
No, Sir Giles.
But she speaks. I heard her speak. Here, let me see for myself.
Stay away from her. Don't you touch her.
Get out of my way, you...
Don't touch her, I said. Don't touch her. Oh.
You shot him. You killed Guy.
Before he stabbed me to death, as he stabbed my servant. Self-defense, sir. And now enough of this. I came for my wife's body, but it appears I shall be taking her wife back to Buckingham Manor with me. Rouse her. Rouse her at once.
I cannot, Sir Giles. She is dead. Has been dead for more than 6 weeks.
I heard her speak.
Yes. But it was her soul, her spirit, I don't know what, but not her body. Her body is dead.
Yes, dead. I beg you don't hold me any longer. Guy is here. Let me go to him. I say to you that I am dead. Let me go.
She comes with me.
No. She goes where she should have gone long since now, had it not been for me. Victorine, I release you. Go, and in the sanctity of death, join the lover you never had in life.
What's happening? Her body, it's disintegrating before my eyes, rotting, moldering. Horrible! Horrible!
I'll be back shortly with a final thought. The Premature Burial is only one tale by the master Edgar Allan Poe that I've had the pleasure of bringing you. We now owe, and generations to come will owe, so much to his imagination, his vibrant fancy. But it might be nice to think of him now and then and let his name pass through your thoughts, as it does through mine, and to wish him well, wherever he may be. Our cast included Keir DeLay, Paul Hecht, Guy Sorrell, and Marion Seldes. Associate Director, Marlon Swing. This is Hyman Brown, Producer Director, inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, then, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. Welcome to Mystery Theater. I am Hyman Brown. Have you ever dreamed of flying? Of course you have. Everyone has. It's as natural as thirst or hunger, except when it's not you who is doing the flying by yourself, but are being carried by... But that's our story. Another gripping twist on a subject which refuses to die, the vampire.
I have come here, but I don't know why.
Because I love you, and I want you to love me. Give yourself to me.
How can I? You are a specter. You have no body, no being.
Give yourself to me.
I was no sooner in her arms than I felt myself lifted off the ground, carried by her, mounting far above the ground, with her lips pressed to mine, kissed as I had never been kissed before.
Our mystery drama, Nightmare's Nest, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Gordon Gould. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Most of us, I imagine, accept the concept that certain things have been left out of our general makeup. We don't hit a golf ball like Tiger Woods or a tennis ball like Pete Sampras. We cannot play the piano or paint or develop the business acumen to become a millionaire. But most of us certainly expect that we will have equal emotions. How many of us could even imagine not being able to love someone, to be a person in whose personality that emotion has been completely left out? This is the story of such a man, John Findlay Masters.
I've never really felt incomplete. That is, I never had till... But that would be getting ahead of myself. What I mean is that I have never been unhappy. although I suppose I've not been very happy either. But content enough with my life, my dreams, my achievements, and my few avocations. As Father Dan McGovern liked to say of me,
Ah, you're the ultimate pragmatist, John, my boy. That's what keeps me coming by. I'll convert you yet.
what keeps you coming by is the sad delusion that someday, some way, you'll beat me at our weekly game of chess. Can I get you something to drink?
Oh, now that'd be nice. A little cherry would warm my heart if you'll join me.
By all means.
I wish I thought it could warm yours.
Dan, you'll never let go, will you? Why do I worry you so?
Because it's not natural to begin with. I mean, here you are, a man just turned 30, and you live like a hermit. You should be married with children.
Not my
well,
style.
at least you should have a woman who I mean, someone to cherish and love and...
Father, and you, a man of the cloth? Are you advocating extramarital affairs?
Of course not. I'm less concerned with sex than with love.
Which only goes to prove what friendly antagonists we are. I am just the other way. One of the advantages of living in today's world. So let me put your mind to rest about that. And drink your sherry.
Somehow, it doesn't taste as good as I anticipated.
Well, that's a first-class sherry.
It isn't the wine that sours on me, it's you.
Why let it bother you?
Because because I feel I stand in loco parentis to you. Your father, rest his soul, was a long-time friend.
You puzzle and worry about me, Dan. You find me hard to understand. It shouldn't be too difficult. My father, who gloated over my mental capacities, my precocity in mathematics particularly, the academic honors I won that fed his vanity because I was his son. The endless hours he chained me to a chessboard, teaching me the game till I became the master. Pride in me, cold satisfaction, but never love. And, on the other hand, there was my mother.
Well, you can't say you didn't get it from her.
That was just the trouble. Too much. Like a dog that licks wildly at his master's face, or all the girls who hung around after the football game, or when we won the basketball championship.
Wait now, by the Holy Father. There's some hope for you yet. There is emotion, when sure I thought your soul was dead and buried.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Father. I am a man of no emotions, because I don't need them, or believe in them, except as a destructive force. My motivations are scientific, in the realm of pure mathematics, sheerly practical. Come on, you finished your sherry. Let's get to the game.
No. A moment longer. Now, I don't feel much like chess tonight.
Well, you'd better.
Why is that?
It may be your last chance. I'm giving up my apartment. I'm going away.
Away where?
I found a perfect house. Isolated, remote, locked away from the world.
Oh, sure, the last place for you to go.
Oh, I need to be utterly alone. I'm coming near the verge of a breakthrough in pure mathematical theory that could upend the world.
Oh, dear God, would you listen to the man? Hasn't the world been upended enough already? Oh, John, I have a terrible premonition 'tis the worst thing you could possibly have done.
And so I came to live at Mayor's Nest, named for the man Mayor who built it. It should have been called Nightmare's Nest. But I had no idea of that, of course, that first afternoon, as Mrs. Denton took me on a tour of my new home.
I'm sorry, Mr. Masters, for the condition of the third floor. Most of the rooms here are small, old-fashioned servants' rooms with little light. And the others are storage, filled with old lumber, a lot of leftover trash that Mr. Mayor has instructed me to throw away. Family papers, old clothes, and the like.
What's that door at the end of the hall?
Why, that's Miss Stella's old playroom.
Is it large?
Oh, yes.
Well, let's have a look at it.
I mean, nothing's been done here. After she died, her things were all taken away, too.
It looks perfect for me. That big gable window overlooks the garden?
Yes, it does.
Is it fully wired here?
Oh, yes, it's heated electrically. Mr. Mayer had 220-volt current brought up.
Well, then it's perfect. I may want to put in a computer. Quite a view, too. I didn't get a chance to really look at the gardens. It's beginning to get a little dark. What's that sort of walled-in area beyond the trees there?
That's the maze, sir.
The what?
Mr. Mayer was a very rich man. He had strange fancies. He was visiting in London at Hampton Court, is it? Where Henry VIII lived?
That's right.
Well, there's a thing called the maze there. You know, a place...
I know, a labyrinth of yew hedges full of dead ends till you find just the right path to the center.
That's right. Well, anyway, Mr. Mayer built one just like it for Miss Stella. For her and her friends to play in was the idea.
Fascinating. I'd like to go down and have a look at it.
Oh, it's getting a bit dark, sir, and besides, when the wall was built around the maze, the gate was padlocked, and I don't know where the key has gotten to.
Well, never mind. I can see it tomorrow. Let's go down to the second floor and decide on a bedroom suite for me, and then we can start thinking about dinner.
Very well, sir. Oh, Mr. Masters.
Yes?
I just hope you'll be very happy here.
I don't even ask that much. Content and undisturbed will suit me fine.
Good morning, Mr. Masters. You'll be ready for your breakfast?
Just juice and coffee, Mrs. Denton. I don't eat in the morning.
Oh, we have some lovely fresh eggs from the farm down the road.
No, thank you. You will find that I'm a creature of habit. Too late to change anything in my life.
Well, I heard you moving about, so I have the orange juice right here and the coffee nice and warm. Or would you prefer some other fruit juice?
No, this is fine. But speaking of hearing things, though...
What? You heard something in the night?
What? No. I slept like a top. Now, I was talking about the hall. There's an echo there.
Oh, well, it's the tiles, sir. See, there used to be a big round rug there, but Mr. Mayer liked the tiles so much he had it taken up.
Well, let's get it put down again. The place is as cold as a grave and sounds like walking through a crypt. It's a pleasant day.
It's getting very chilly.
Nice dry chill. An invigorating day. And I need a good deal of air after last night.
I beg pardon, sir. You said you slept well.
I did, but heavily. I couldn't get any of the windows open in my room.
Oh, well, that's because the screens aren't in yet.
Well, still, if I hadn't gone to bed so late, I would have looked for you to ask you why on earth they are nailed shut.
Oh, it's just a precaution, sir. The trees grow so near the house that quite a bit of wildlife gets into the house unless the screens are up.
Well, then, let's get them up. Is there some sort of handyman?
Oh, yes.
You know, I'm fascinated by the maze. Did you dig up the key for it?
Oh, no, not yet, sir.
Oh, well, there's no great rush. You must tell me more about it at dinner or tomorrow. Because today I must get back to the house and get to work. But I would like to get some windows opened.
It's cold this time of year. And the screens need painting. Now, if you could just wait a while...
Not too long. The house is as musty as a tomb. Let's get it opened up a little. What is it?
Oh, you left the front door ajar.
Oh, Mrs. Denton, don't worry. I realize there's an oil crisis, but a little extra strain on the supply...
It isn't that, Mr. Masters. Oh, we shouldn't ever leave anything open. There are things that can enter.
Things? Oh, you mean mosquitoes, flies, insects.
And there are other things.
Woodcocks, opossums, raccoons. We're that far out in the woods?
We're all alone here. Isolated like.
Well, as long as it isn't bears or anything we can't handle.
What is it?
I don't know. A funny dead smell. Oh, we must get this house open and let some air in. And...
And what?
I thought it was oppression at first, but... Strange reaction. It's depression. Doesn't make sense on a day when it's so clear and the cloud cover's so high. I never felt like this in my life before.
How?
Well, heavy, listless. No, what's the word? I know. Something I've never totally felt in my life, even at my parents' funerals. Sad. Just unbearably, inescapably sad.
Oh, Lord, help us. I knew as soon as I saw the door open. And the moment we got inside, she's back again. You let her back in.
The ultimate pragmatist, suddenly in the grip of an unbearable emotion, and for no practical reason, certainly no natural one. So, by the evidence, it must be supernatural. Who is the she who disturbs the peace of this strange, haunting house? Mystery Theater will be back shortly with Act Two. In the dark and gloomy hall, the huge ornate staircase curving up behind his head like a giant question mark, John Masters, shaking off the depression that shrouds him, turns to the frightened, cringing little woman. Mrs. Denton leans against the heavy front door, whether for support or as if to bar its opening from the insistence of some outside force. It's hard to tell. Before he can speak, he has to take a deep breath to lift the crushing weight of nameless sorrow from his chest.
What she? Whom have I let back in?
Oh, I suppose you had to know sooner or later. Well, I'll try to make it as short as possible.
Not in this echoing vault. Let's get away from sound and half-darkness. Here, the dining room will do. Now sit down, Mrs. Denton. You look as though you'd seen a ghost.
Thank you, sir. No, not seen. But I know she's here.
Who's here?
Oh, the poor lost little soul. Stella. Miss Mayer that was.
Tell me what this is all about.
Oh, it goes back over 10 years. And she was such a lovely little thing, Stella. Just 17 and bright and gay. And chipper as a little bird, always laughing and full of fun. Until Ram Gitano came to work for us. There were horses here then for riding, and he took care of them. And he drove Mr. Mayer in his car to and from the station. Oh, he was a handsome young man with black hair and white teeth and a dark gypsy skin. And it didn't take Stella very long to fall head over heels in love with him. And they would sneak away and meet in the middle of the maze. There's a little sort of Grecian temple there. There used to be a gazebo. And I was so worried, I hid myself away behind there one night after dinner.
Moshkadroka e Borodine Sharlukan Kesana.
What is that, what?
Darling, what do you expect from a gypsy? That's Romany.
What does it mean?
My heart and all my pulsing soul is yours, my only love.
Oh, how beautiful.
Yeah, if you go for that. Stella, baby, what difference is it how I say it? I'm crazy about you.
And you know I love you.
Well, you know I buy it, but will your old man?
I don't know.
Have you talked to him about us yet?
No.
What's the matter? Afraid he'll think I'm not good enough for his little chick?
I'll handle that.
I don't think so.
Oh.
All right, Stella, you can go. I heard enough on my way into the maze to know where we stand. I'll handle this from now on.
Crouched in my hiding place, I blame myself bitterly for not having been at the house so that I could have stopped this meeting. I could see, hear how hurt my little Stella was, and I wanted to come out and help her. I knew how wrong this man was for her, but I also knew Stella. I knew how deeply she could be hurt and how easily broken, so I froze, helpless.
It doesn't matter what you do or say, Daddy.
I love him. And if he wants me, I'll have him. Any way he wants me.
Sorry it had to be like this, sir.
I am sorry it had to be at all. How long has this been going on?
Oh, for some time, Mr. Mayor.
If you have in any way...
I may not be Ivy League, but so far I'm a gentleman. No sweat there.
You had better not. So help me God, I'll drag you in for statutory rape.
I wouldn't advise it, Mr. Mayor. You wouldn't have a case. But nudge me far enough...
I'll nudge you, all right. Straight out and keep on going. You're fired.
You're making a mistake, Mr. Mayor.
My mistake was in hiring you. Never letting you get near my daughter. But from here on in, I'll make sure you don't have another chance.
You know I could tie you into a pretzel, old
loudmouth. Try it and I'll put you in jail where you really belong.
On second thought, maybe I'll just lay a nice fat gypsy curse on you. That's what you really object to, isn't it? My race.
I don't give a damn about your race. Or your color. Or up to a certain point, your creed. Simply that I can recognize a no-good, hands-out bum just as well as you can. I came up from nothing myself. Only I made my own way. I didn't climb over other people's backs to get there. Now get out and stay out.
I waited a long time before I left the maze, and by that time they'd gone to the station. And I was left to comfort and try to calm down a frantic little girl who was mad with grief. Oh, I should have slept in her room that night. Her bedroom was the same as you have now, Mr. Masters. But I was fool enough not to. The rest of the story I had to piece together from fragments spoken in fever by Stella during her long, last, puzzling illness. Late that night, Ram came back. He climbed the big tree outside her window. If you look, there's a branch cut off now that used to stretch near enough to reach the sill.
Ram!
Shh! Help me in.
Wait here. Give me your hand.
Grab hold of the window frame.
Okay.
Don't let go, just for a moment. And keep out of my way. I'm gonna jump. Now! I'll close the window quick.
Are you all right, darling?
Fine.
Oh, did you come back to take me away?
Yes, but all in good time. Everyone asleep?
Oh, I think. Shall I get dressed?
Not yet. Now, look, the safe downstairs. Your father still keep all that dough in it?
Well, yes. Well, there's nearly 10,000 there. I put away some for him this morning. Why?
You know the combination?
Of course, but...
Look, darling, let me hold you in my arms. And listen to me. If I'd gone away, if I hadn't jumped off that train when it slowed down for Traverse Crossing, I'd be gone out of your life. You know that?
Why?
Why? Because it's written in the stars. Or if you don't like my gypsy second sight, because by the time I ever made enough money to be able to afford you, old Moneybags Mayor would have talked you into marrying someone else.
No, Rom. I never would have.
Well, this way we're taking no chances. You're going down now to sneak open that safe for me and give me that dough.
You mean steal it?
Honey, when we're married, how much bread you think your old man is going to sling around like confetti? This is a drop in a bucket, but it's enough for you and me to get started.
Oh. All right. But then I'm going with you.
You can't, baby. Not for another couple of months, till you're 18 and your own woman. I'm going to cut out with this stake, get myself set, send you my address, and as soon as you're 18, you come a-running to me and we get married. Once that happens, you know he won't touch us. Honey, it's the only way we can make it.
Oh, Rom, I don't know.
I thought you loved me.
I do. But
okay, then. Prove it.
There. It's open.
Okay, honey. Now get on upstairs. You know nothing about this. Leave the rest to me.
Oh, I don't want to leave you.
Just for a little while. Trust me.
Oh, I'd put my life in your hands.
Who's there? Don't move till I get the light.
You kidding? Look out or I'll... Oh, what? You damn... Oh, you killed me.
You? I thought I'd seen the last of you.
The way it looks, that's what you bought.
Daddy, what happened?
Oh, you killed him.
Still, I was only protecting my house. I didn't know who he was.
Remember, you killed me. Drak voldi neister in dermen stark de vampire.
What?
An old gypsy curse on you. I will not die till I replace my soul and one of you become a vagrum, silphied vagrum.
And this all happened 10 years ago?
It would have been 10 years, nearly 2 months ago. And Stella, by that time, was under psychiatric care. Oh, the poor child. She just went to pieces.
Do you think her father knew that he was shooting her, well, that he knew who the man was?
I don't know. I know that Miss Stella thought he did. She never spoke to her father again. Oh, this house was a terrible place to live in. We were all smothering under a terrible, a blanket of grief and shock. Sometimes it was hard to breathe.
That feeling at least I had just now.
And she lay upstairs in the bed you slept in last night and just wasted away.
No, Mrs. Denton, that's silly. In this modern age, with all our medical know-how, nobody just wastes away. Life can be maintained by mechanical means almost indefinitely, particularly a young life.
They couldn't keep her alive. They said it was anemia, pernicious anemia. They kept giving her transfusion after transfusion, but the doctors were helpless. The blood just seemed to break down and disappear. Well, she was buried in the little temple in the center of the maze.
And that's where she lies now?
No.
You mean she was reburied somewhere else? Her body was moved?
Her body was moved, but not by any earthly means. It just disappeared.
I don't understand you.
Oh, Lord, forgive me. I don't understand myself. I can only tell you this. After Stella's death, Mr. Mayor was a completely broken man. He couldn't stand this house, complaining all the time of the same smothering pall of sadness you felt today. But he wouldn't sell the house, not while his daughter rested here. So I was kept on as housekeeper, and every day I took fresh flowers to place by the coffin.
By his instruction?
Yes. There was no wall about the maze then, but you can imagine, because I had loved her so. What a sad pilgrimage that was every day. She might have been the daughter I never had. So I would kneel there and pray. But after I'd learned to find my way blindfold to the center, I seldom thought of looking at the coffin itself. Until one day, I did. And
Mrs. Denton, are you all right?
I'm as right as I shall ever be again.
Are you up to finishing your story?
Oh, I'd rather show you as well as I can. You wanted to see the maze. Well, now's the time to see it.
You found the key?
I've always had it. I never let it out of my sight. Shall we go?
I followed her to the maze. The lock, rusty and old, but apparently well-oiled, opened easily, and we threaded our way to the little Grecian temple at the center, Mrs. Denton leading. Inside the temple was a dais, and on it lay a carved, frescoed bronze catafalque. She brought me to it.
The lid is very heavy. It takes a strong man to open it. One day after she died, I came here with my flowers. The lid was standing open. I was appalled, and I stepped forward to look in. Open it yourself, Mr. Masters, and you will see what I saw.
Curiouser and curiouser, cried Alice, as she wound her way through Wonderland. But this is a darker and more disturbing world than Lewis Carroll ever dreamt of. Even at high noon, as John Masters and Mrs. Denton look upon the coffin of a long-dead girl, the forces of darkness swirl and cloud about them. Mystery Theater will continue shortly with Act 3. The little Grecian temple in the center of the maze is very simple. 4 Ionic columns, perhaps 12 feet high, bearing a cupola roof. It's open on all sides, save for a low circular series of slabs at sitting height, supported like benches. In the center is a dais about 3 feet high, on the surface of which rests a bronze coffin, obviously maintained with loving care. There are no flowers.
Lift the lid. You need have no fear of disturbing the dead.
Very well.
It won't be so hard, because I am a foolish woman. The hinges are kept oiled.
There's nothing there.
Exactly. That's what I found all those years ago. A month after she had died and been buried.
I was annoyed. I had bought this house from the Mayor estate with a built-in housekeeper to guarantee my isolation and quiet from my mathematical experimentation. I realized now I should have questioned more closely the bargain I had thought it to be. But that die was cast. The problem now was to put all this nonsense out of my mind, and at the same time try to banish the stifling feeling of profound grief that kept sweeping over me from time to time. But within a day or two, with the weather warming and the screens up so we could open windows, that had passed, and I could get on with my work. Then suddenly, it returned more strongly than before, and on an impulse, I called Father Dan and invited him down for a weekend.
Oh, could we open a window, John?
They're as wide open as they can be already. Why? It isn't that warm.
Well, then, could we take a little walk in the garden, do you think?
I was waiting till tomorrow to show it to you, but maybe it's light enough. Why not?
There'll be a gibbous moon. It's a little over the half. And I'd like to see this maze of yours. Well, it's an amazing little labyrinth. I wouldn't have believed you could find your way in here so easily.
Well, it isn't so difficult. There are a whole series of little markers to lead you right, when you know where to find them.
Oh, even in this half-light? You must have come this way quite often.
Yes, I'm fascinated, naturally, by Mrs. Denton's foolish, well, you might say, legend that she's been building up.
Yes, of course, of course. And I see there are fresh flowers by the coffin. I thought that had been stopped a long time ago.
Oh, I put some there yesterday morning before I picked you up at the train. A gesture. I don't know why.
To an empty coffin, huh? And it is still empty.
Well, naturally. But I have seen a picture of the young lady who should lie in it. I'll show you later. And she was a lovely child. I suppose that gypsy lover's relatives stole the body.
No. Now, why would they do a thing like that?
How the devil would I... She was wearing jewels, rings, when she was buried. I can only surmise they robbed her for those. Or some kind of vengeance.
Did he have relatives?
Oh, Father Dan, I don't know. I told you it was a surmise. Let's get back to the house. I was in no mood for discussion when we returned to the house, which was unreasonable of me, since it was the main reason I had invited Father Dan down. But the mood of depression hung too heavily on me, and I wanted to be alone, to sleep, to just forget. I had no idea how long I had been lying in bed. I may even have slept for a while. But all of a sudden, I came awake, or consciously in control of thought. The moon, low in the heavens, cast a glow on the floor between me and my bed. And slowly, the moon glow misted between the window and me, twisted and swirled gently, and rose and formed into the figure of a woman, transparent as the mist, standing before me and moving towards me. Who are you?
I have come for you.
For me? Why?
Don't question it, my love. Just come.
Where?
Now, quickly. To the center of the maze. The center of the maze.
I didn't question it. Don't ask me why. Suddenly, I felt her lips on mine, warm, promising, drinking all my heart's blood. And then she was gone. I, who have questioned every move, decision I'd entertained, I went like a child, and in the soft moonlight met her there. Was she beautiful, deadly, fascinating, irresistible? I can't tell you. She was all in white, swirling around her, and her face was concealed in a milky scarf that bound her head. I had a moment of annoyance almost. I have come here, but I don't know why.
Because I love you. And I want you to love me. Give yourself to me.
Give myself to you? How can I? You are a specter. You have no body, no being.
Give yourself to me. I will do you no harm. Take me.
I've never refused a woman yet. All right. Come here. We were no sooner in each other's arms than I felt myself lifted off the ground, carried by her, high up over the trees, mounting, 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 sailing effortlessly, while in the moonlight I could see the country spread out below. And every so often, her lips pressed to mine, as I have never been kissed before, drinking from me, drawing me to her, lifting me with her to glide on the wind currents until...
Until what?
Until... I don't know what. I don't remember. Till I woke up in my bed this morning.
Well, feeling how?
Well, all my depression gone. Relaxed. Oh, with a strange lassitude for me, but also a kind of peace. So you see, I can send you back to town as relaxed as I am. I suppose I shouldn't have dragged you up here in the first place.
Very well, John. You may call me whenever you need me.
Well, I just needed a little contact with good common sense and human kindness to banish all the foolish dreams. I'm myself again.
You don't think, John, that maybe the things that are happening to you should make you question just a little what it's all about? I mean, us being here...
No, you don't trap me in that old argument again. I thank you for coming here, and I don't know what came over me. Maybe Mrs. Denton's graphic history. But I'm myself again. I said goodbye to my old friend, confident that he had no worries about me. I should have judged him better. During my next weeks of tranquility, I little realized how thoroughly he tried to save me.
Fascinating history, Father. And equally fascinating how far we've come from different approaches, backgrounds, educations to measure the same results. Never ceases to astound me.
Well, I don't know why. You study the human mind, Dr. Holland, I the human soul. Are they separated so far? But this isn't any time for philosophical discussions. I've had some letters and a couple of phone calls in the last few days that have exacerbated all my fears and brought me back to you.
Yes, after a period of relief, the massive depression started to reinvade the house, and the dreams of flying have returned with this unknown wraith.
How sick is he, Doctor?
I'd guess it's an obsessive compulsion reaction, if you force me to a clinical response.
Well, then how would you treat or how would you help such a man?
I can't give you an easy answer. Can I meet him?
Why not, Paul? Do you want to drive up there next weekend?
With the approach of the full moon, my white-clothed lady with the scarf about her head and face appeared to me in dreams, if they were dreams, more and more frequently. Together we soared, or seemed to soar, wherever I asked, or the winds took us, or she desired. And without my realizing it, day by day, I grew weaker and weaker. Each night, she would come to bear me up with her, flying, flying high above all the world and its sins and its agony.
Darling, oh my darling, kiss me.
Yes.
Hold my lips, suck in your breath, and then release it into my mouth. We are one. We are one. You are mine.
When will we be together always?
Don't you know? It is already over. You have saved me. Now you must find love yourself. Oh, my darling, you grow heavy. Heavy. I can't hold you up any longer.
You must. I cannot fly like you.
I can't. I'm cold. I'm cold. I'm cold.
No!
Well, thank you, Mrs. Denton, for bringing us here to the center of the maze.
If you don't know your way, it's hard to find.
So this is the tomb from which the body mysteriously disappeared.
Yes. I haven't seen the inside of the coffin myself.
Oh, you can open it if you want. There's nothing to see.
Well, for curiosity's sake, I'd like to look, but you are the one who should say if it's proper.
As I'm told, the poor child hasn't been there for 10 years. It's hardly likely we'd disturb her body or soul now. It's heavy, but... Oh, sweet Mary, full of grace.
It's not empty any longer.
Huh?
She almost looks alive.
That's her. Oh, my little Stella. Oh, just as she used to look. Oh, my darling.
Oh! Dr. Holland, here.
What is it?
Here, behind the little temple. Look there, that was my friend, John Masters.
Good Lord, he's dead.
Of course.
It must have been a terrible fall. The fractures are so multiple. But from where?
Oh, good Lord, forgive me, I don't know. From the sky.
At least from some terrible height, and yet it's incredible.
What's that?
The damage is so extensive. I don't want to go into details, but there should be blood. And there's not a trace of it. Not one single drop.
I'll be back shortly with a final thought. The vagabond, the wanderer who seeks blood, having found it, joins the dead in peace. The donor, the victim, must wander between heaven and hell until he finds one to love and nourish him and to grant him the sanctuary of the grave. Our cast included Gordon Gould, Rosemary Rice, Mary Jane Higby, Robert Maxwell, and Ian Martin. Associate Director, Marlon Swing. This is Hyman Brown, Producer Director, inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, then, pleasant dreams.